441. Kurururun. I see the smoke rising from my entire domain after being struck by the heavenly tribulation. The Grand Perfection Integration Stage Heavenly Tribulation. It's a tribulation that had been temporarily postponed with Jaeon Myung-hoon's power after Buk Hyung-hwa's death. From the moment I artificially delayed the tribulation, I had expected it to grow somewhat stronger, but so, this is the Grand Perfection Integration Stage Heavenly Tribulation. I sigh at the electric current still tingling inside my body. Howie. Chaos Realm Region. An endless rocky mountain range next to Cedar Wood Grove. Due to the aftermath of my heavenly tribulation, the mountains there are not only shattered but spatial rifts have also appeared throughout the area. It wasn't even directly hit by the tribulation, but just the residual effects from the tribulation that struck and ricocheted off my body caused this much destruction. If my domain had been the typical domain of an integration stage cultivator, it would have been torn apart and crushed like the mountain range in the Chaos Realm region, leaving me in a state on the verge of death. 6 Divine Powers of the Integration Stage. Ordinary cultivators of the Heaven and Earth tribes simply fill their domains with energy, studying phenomena through that energy and acquiring their insights through breakthrough before understanding. I, too, thought there was no other way, until I realized that the domain at the integration stage is connected to the heart essence. If one doesn't achieve the 6 divine powers of the integration stage through understanding before breakthrough, they haven't gained the proper insights. The absolute majority of Grand Perfection Integration cultivators, including Jun Jae, haven't truly realized the 6 divine powers. They are merely mimicking the process after filling their domains with energy. No wonder the success rate of rising to the star-shattering stage is so low. Even reaching Grand Perfection in the integration stage is rare. I recall the terrifying heavenly tribulation that just passed and laugh bitterly. Without using the power of void shattering and only relying on my heaven and earth dual cultivation, it was almost beyond my strength to face this insane level of heavenly tribulation. Most likely, ordinary cultivators at the integration stage would not rely on the 6 powers to face the heavenly tribulation of the integration stage like I did. Instead, they would depend on Dharma treasures or artifacts to elevate their realms. Relying on external objects makes one lack the strength when advancing to the star-shattering stage, leading to failure in breakthrough. Shaking off my idle thoughts, I wait for the final stage of the Great Perfection Integration Heavenly Tribulation to pass. Ururung. The dark clouds that have been pouring down the heavenly tribulation still haven't disappeared. The Great Perfection Integration stage is a special realm. It completes the integration cultivation and is the last step before advancing to the star-shattering stage. As such, the tribulation at this stage prepares one final obstacle near the end. Urururung. The dark clouds roar, gradually beginning to descend. No, upon closer inspection, they aren't clouds but shadows. Shadows are falling from within the clouds. And the shadows cast upon the ground by the dark clouds also start swarming toward me. From the heavens and earth and all 4 directions. Shadows from the directions of the 6 harmonies rush toward me. Suruk, Surururuk. I close my eyes. From now on, it's time for the Heart Demon Tribulation, Shinmo Jie. Great Perfection Integration Stage. Once the 6 divine powers are completed, a new kind of tribulation is added for cultivators. It's called the Heart Demon Tribulation, a type of tribulation where heaven and earth blow darkness towards the cultivator in the plane of soul. From the Grand Perfection Integration Stage onward, one must overcome this darkness to settle into the next realm. Many cultivators refer to this darkness bestowed by the world as the Heart Heavenly Demon, likening it to the heavenly fiends of the Blood Yin realm. Within the pitch-black darkness, inside Seo Unyun's heart essence, the Heart Heavenly Demons begin to reveal themselves one by one. The darkness of the plane of soul. Negative and sinister torrents of emotions reborn into the world as Heart Heavenly Demons are now entering Seo Unyun's heart essence. Ha 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 ha, what's this? This darkness. So, this fool thinks he's endured a little pain and now casts a shadow over his heart essence, huh? The true suffering of immortal cultivation is only just beginning, you dim-witted fool. The Heart Heavenly Demons cackle and, from deep within the darkness, they drag out something with their claw-like things. Keek, Kururururuk, Queegeek. What the Heart Heavenly Demons pull out is a monster. The monster's entire body burns fiercely, and its entire figure is covered with countless eyeballs, streaming tears in agony. The Heart Heavenly Demons laugh as they look at the monster. Hoo ha ha ha, is this your true nature? How disgusting, so pitiful and tough looking, but what's the use of having tough skin if your flesh is this tender? The Heart Heavenly Demons cackle as they mercilessly tear into the monster's flesh, torturing it. But then, something strange happens. The monster being tortured by the heart heavenly demons suddenly forms a peaceful expression and closes its eyes, falling asleep. What? Did it eat something strange? It's at that moment, one of the heart heavenly demons, while mindlessly clawing in the darkness, sees another monster being dragged by its claws. What's this now? It stares in confusion at the two monsters, looking back and forth between them. They're identical. This bastard has a split personality. No wonder. From the moment I saw it, it looked like the heart essence of a madman. Judging by the sense of loss from losing comrades, it seems this one's mind broke from being unable to protect anything. Just then, coo-goo-goo-goo-goo-goo, the heart essence begins to shake violently. And suddenly, an endless swarm of monsters pours out toward the heart heavenly demons. H-Heok. What is that? Panicking, they try to stand their ground against the approaching monsters. But the number of monsters is far too many. The heart heavenly demons are like a drop in the ocean compared to them. Everyone, gather together. Combine our strengths and defend our domain. If we gather, we live, if we scatter, we die. Gritting their teeth, they try to resist the oncoming wave of monsters. But then, one of the heart heavenly demons glimpses into the deep darkness. It locks eyes with something. Quick. In an instant, the heart heavenly demon who saw something explodes, and in its place, a tree made of swords sprouts. The tree burns with flames, but from within, endless groans of agony can be heard. The tree is definitely burning, but it emits no light, only streams of darkness, hideous beyond words, flow from the sword tree. The heart heavenly demons begin to panic. Then, several more heart heavenly demons glance into the deep darkness. Wog, Kuok, run. With those words, the other heart heavenly demons also begin to change. The remaining heart heavenly demon, terrified, look toward the depths of the darkness. And as if realizing something, they shout out in horror. So that's it. It's a senior. The quasi-immortal level heart demon that appears when entering Nirvana. Quasi-immortal's breakthrough has already been parasitizing this cultivator's mind. Then, we came to the wrong place. Senior, please hear us out for a moment. The heart heavenly demons bow down toward the darkness, crying out. The great Yin Soul, Da Yin Hun, has decreed that no integration stage grand cultivators in the bright cold realm should advance any further. We came here in droves because of that command. Truly, we didn't mean to offend your dignity. The next moment, the loud clamoring heart heavenly demon explodes, being absorbed into the darkness. From deep within the darkness, a massive presence quietly mutters. Silence. Crunch. With that, all the heart heavenly demons are dragged into the darkness at once. Heart demon senior is enraged. Everyone, run. The heart heavenly demons scream in unison and flee. However, they are quickly sucked into the darkness, and terrible screams echo from within. Let me out. Please, let me out. What is this? Just what is this? The heart heavenly demons who reach the edge of the darkness hear those screams and are gripped with even greater terror, trying to escape. But as the heart essence squirms, they are all sucked inward. Elder, please, Kuog. Finally, the last remaining heart heavenly demon is sucked into the depths of the darkness. And deep within the darkness, Seo Unyun's eyes glisten as he absorbs the last remaining heart heavenly demon into his glass mountain. Great Yin Soul, blink. I open my eyes. The heart demons themselves weren't much. They are merely clusters of negative energy, so once absorbed within me and dissolved in pain, they reverted to their original form as pure negative force. But there's something more that concerns me. Great Yin Soul, it's information I discovered while dissolving the heart heavenly demons. Although, Great Yin Soul doesn't seem to be the official name, I can understand the meaning behind it. An immense yin, the being they referred to possesses the attribute of immense yin, and that's why the being was referred to as the Great Yin Soul. Thump, I look up at the sky. I've fully stabilized at the grand perfection integration stage. The sky is clear, and no celestial energy is visibly present. But I can sense it. I've been feeling it ever since I heard the words of the heart demons in the plane of soul. Instinctively, I know that something in the bright cold realm has begun to shift out of place. Whatever the heart heavenly demons call the Great Yin Soul has begun to exert its power in the bright cold realm. The bright cold realm, one of the colonies of the tall tree race. That place is currently being reduced to ashes beneath a strange fortress floating in the sky. Bee-like puppets are flying through the sky, capturing the cultivators of the tall tree race and dragging them inside the strange fortress. Inside the fortress, hundreds of tall tree race cultivators are confined in barrels, trembling with fear, each with a strange tightening band-like ring attached to their heads. TLN, tightening band as in the golden circlet that Sun Wukong has. And the one observing this scene, the Mad Lord, strokes his chin while rolling his eyes. Oh ho 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 ho, how interesting interesting interesting. Don't you agree, you there? The Mad Lord asks one of the tall tree race cultivators with an intrigued expression. What exactly do you mean? Your heads, of course. When I analyze the waves from your heads, what appears as a sacred vessel, sacred master. That's all that's in there. Quote. Oh, of course. The sacred master is our idol. No, that's not the point. I already know she's your idol. But what's interesting is that 1 in every 10 of you, unconditionally, harbor secret, malicious desires toward the image of that sacred master. At those words, steam-like vapor rises from the face of the tall tree race cultivator. Their face distorts grotesquely like a malevolent spirit, and the Mad Lord bursts into insane laughter. Isn't it astonishing that you all harbor such hidden desires? Quote. That's slander. It's not slander. It's a precise reading from a thorough investigation. But whether you harbor lustful desires or some other dark cravings for your sacred master, I couldn't care less. What's truly astonishing is, 1 in 10. No matter which of your colonies I raid. No matter which group of 10 I capture. Without fail, 1 in 10 of you harbors such dark and vile desires. Do you know what that means? The tall tree race cultivator tries to speak, but the Mad Lord shoves both hands into the cultivator's mouth, sticking his eyes into the cultivator's throat as he shouts. It's as if he is greeting the inside of the tall tree race cultivator's throat. Clearly, something's gone terribly wrong. Eeyahaha, isn't that right, Black Lord? At the Mad Lord's words, from deep inside the throat of the tall tree race cultivator, it seems as though black yin energy begins to rise. However, in the next moment, as the Mad Lord opens his mouth, countless mechanical devices and puppet arms shoot out from within and seize the black something inside the tall tree race cultivator. A little later, the Mad Lord pulls out the black something and rolls his eyes wildly. Eehahaha hey. Good. I'm always grateful, Black Lord. Thanks to you, the new celestial energy calculation device is smoothly nearing completion. The Mad Lord shoves the black mass into something. The devices inside the bizarre fortress begin to analyze and break down the black mass, transforming it into something else. The converted black substance moves inside a transparent crystal tube within the bizarre fortress and activates something. Flash! The crystal tube lights up, drawing a constellation in the air. The Mad Lord rubs his hands together frantically as he gazes at it. It's so interesting. Even though I, in the Grand Perfection 4-axis stage, can't see anything when I look at the celestial energy calculated when I input this predicts a great misfortune in the bright cold realm. That's your doing, right? Black Lord, answer me. The Mad Lord forcibly pries open another tall tree race cultivator's mouth and peers into the throat, shouting relentlessly into it. It's fine, perfect, wonderful, like it's a proceed. Drooling, he turns to look at her, who is undergoing modifications in the back. It was a stroke of heavenly fortune to see a star-shattering monster up close. With that data and experience, I am now able to transform deer into a genuine star-shattering. Goo. Behind her, something round and spherical is being constructed. An artificial star. Once it's completed and placed inside deer, you will truly enter the star-shattering stage, but the power source is a problem. Even the power source of the Nether Crossing ship isn't nearly enough to operate the artificial star, barely enough to run it for 5 seconds. But it's fine. When the great misfortune sweeps the world, heaven and earth will shift. With eyes brimming with madness, the Mad Lord bursts into hysterical laughter. If I grind down the entire bright cold realm, that will be enough to elevate deer to the star-shattering stage. The Mad Lord extracts black-red glowing masses from inside the tall tree race cultivators, rushing to complete the modifications on her. Outside the bizarre fortress, in a wilderness, there, a ghost king with 21 heads appears in the sky. Goo. Below the ghost king, dark clouds gather in the sky. Around the ghost king, above the dark clouds, several figures stand there. Kim Yeon, Oh Yun Sok, Hong Fan, Jaeon Myung-hoon, Kim Young-hoon, Shi-ho, Seo Ran, and others. They are the forces assembled to confront the Mad Lord. The Ghost King, Seo Eun-yun, stares at his own hand. Strange. He reads the celestial energy in the sky again. Throughout heaven and earth, The power of Devil Mo is growing stronger. Perhaps because of that, the Ghost King's ghostly energy and yin energy are intensifying more than usual. Kurung, Kururung. He looks towards the distant direction where the bizarre fortress is heading. There, too, dark clouds are rising. Single quote. That just now, he feels as if a flash of black-red passed by, and with a tense expression, the Ghost King Seo Unyun rotates one of his 21 heads 180 degrees to address his comrades. From this moment, we will begin Operation Exorcise the Mad Lord. TLN. In Korean, it doesn't say, exorcise, but attaining Buddhahood, Sungbul. It could mean awakening the Mad Lord, enlightening the Mad Lord, or transcending the Mad Lord, which can be taken as a euphemism for sending the Mad Lord to another world death. Chapter 442, Descent 4. Operation Exorcise the Mad Lord is as follows. First, I unleash a void-shattering sword strike to slice the Mad Lord's wonderfully mysterious fortress in half. As confirmed back when Jang Ik was involved, even if the Mad Lord's fortress is cut in half, Yian's play will still activate, so there's no issue. Next, Kim Yian enters the split fortress and, through the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon at great completion, triggers Yian's play. Then, Mad Lord will be exorcised, attain Buddhahood within Yian's play, and the wonderfully mysterious fortress will fall into our hands. The wonderfully mysterious fortress has a self-repair function, so the parts one destroys should restore themselves. The variables here are the wonderfully mysterious fortress and her power. This life's wonderfully mysterious fortress has the realm annihilation ground shrinking formation added to it. Just that alone gives it the mobility of the star-shattering stage within the bright cold realm. Moreover, having witnessed Kong Minhee at the star-shattering stage firsthand, it's unclear how much she has been modified based on that information. In other words, I have to consider the possibility that the Mad Lord might try to escape from me. Thus, I have prepared another plan for that. You understand your role, right, Seo Ran? Yes, Senior. Seo Ran is aboard the Nether Crossing ship. Seo Ran's Nether Crossing ship has a power source installed. The power source from the Nether Crossing ship that was destroyed by Kong Minhee was moved to Seo Ran's Nether Crossing ship. However, since this is a temporary arrangement, there is the condition that it has to be returned to Black Ghost Valley later. To think that when I mentioned going to face the Mad Lord, they readily lent me the power source with both hands. To Black Ghost Valley, the Mad Lord is a terrifying beast that left a blemish on their 500,000-year history. Saying we're going to eliminate such a monster, they didn't just lend us the Nether Crossing ship, but also numerous Ghost Kings. Kia. Thanks to that, the eerie cries of the Ghost Kings are resonating from within the Nether Crossing ship. I gesture to Seo Ran, and he responds with a nod. Following the signal, my comrades quickly board the Nether Crossing ship. It will take about 5 seconds to activate the Realm Annihilation Ground Shrinking Formation. During that time, we must infiltrate the wonderfully mysterious fortress. If the Mad Lord escapes while fighting me, I will pursue him, while my comrades who infiltrate the wonderfully mysterious fortress will activate Yian's play. Yes, I will complete the mission without fail. Even if it's to carry on my master's grudge. Behind the energetically shouting Seo Ran, it feels as though I can see the faint image of Song Jin, the Grand Elder of Black Ghost Valley who was humiliatingly defeated by the Mad Lord. Song Jin's vengeance will carry on through Seo Ran and be executed today. Good, then let's go. I nod and turn my head again. Kuguguguging. The Nether Crossing ship moves. The Nether Crossing ship tears through space and performs a spatial leap. The next place the Nether Crossing ship will appear in the next moment will be inside the wonderfully mysterious fortress. I exude ghostly energy as I fly towards the wonderfully mysterious fortress, dragging dark clouds behind me. When the gliding technique of the demon race, which utilizes heaven and earth spiritual energy as stepping stones, is used in a certain realm, the heaven and earth spiritual energy begins to assist them. Heaven and earth spiritual energy voluntarily rushes in, allowing the demon race to move even faster. The dense spiritual energy transforms into the form of clouds, making it appear as though they are riding on clouds as they move. Kururung. Using the gliding technique, I shoot swiftly towards the wonderfully mysterious fortress from above the black clouds. TSTSTSTSTSTSTSTs. Curses begin to flow from my entire body. The next moment, Kwang, I collide with the defensive barrier surrounding the wonderfully mysterious fortress. The defensive barrier wavers. At the same time, the part of the formation I touched begins to decay. Wing. An alarm blares from the wonderfully mysterious fortress. I smile faintly and stretch out both hands. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Ninth move. Landscape painting. The slash spread in all directions. The transparent sword energy shatters the Mad Lord's defensive formation in one blow. With this, the nether crossing ship will reach the interior of the wonderfully mysterious fortress without issue. Since the barrier likely also includes parts that block enemy teleportation, the operation should proceed smoothly now. What remains is, Kwang, we've known each other for quite some time, haven't we? She appears above the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Goo. I feel the wonderfully mysterious fortress trembling. The Mad Lord may be insane, but he's no fool. Of course, his ability to assess situations is rather poor. That's why the Mad Lord implanted a situation judgment magic artifact in his body. Thanks to that, when he meets a dangerous enemy, he knows how to flee at the right moment. Even if the Mad Lord wishes to fight, the judgment device implanted in him runs simulated battles with illusions, and if it determines there is no chance of victory, it forces him to attempt an escape. After all, what do you think made that madman, who struggles to tell right from wrong, flee from the flying immortal platform in the first place? And now, the judgment device implanted in the Mad Lord seems to have decided that he stands no chance against me, as the realm annihilation. Ground shrinking formation begins to be activated. Wing, I can see space bending. What the? It's faster than I expected. It seems I made a slight miscalculation. It looks like the realm annihilation ground shrinking formation will only take about 3 seconds to activate. In that time, the Mad Lord must have modified the formation once more, enhancing its performance. Now, the only remaining factor is her capabilities. I enter into the time of instance and fix my gaze on her. 3 seconds. It's short, but for those at the integration stage and above, it's an extremely long time. We've had quite a lot of ill fate between us, but I smile as I look at her. I recall the Mad Lord threatening all the other cultivation sects through her in ascension path. I recall her chasing after me like a madwoman with just one hand, forcing me to suicide. I recall her, who spent 1,000 years with the Mad Lord, and in terms of energy had grown to the size of the star-shattering stage. She has always been a terrifying presence to me. As I gaze at her, whose face is covered in white cloth like the Buk Hyungwa I danced with in the 10th cycle, I softly mutter. Today, I will confirm your face and sever this ill-fated connection. And in that moment, I rush straight toward her. Kwang, an immense roar and shockwave erupt. I sense that the nether crossing ship has successfully teleported into the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Now, all I need to do is tie her down. I can feel it from the first strike. It's insane, Mad Lord. She's stronger than her at the 1,000-year point. I can already sense the power of a star at the star-shattering stage. But the strength consumption is fast. I realize that this overwhelming wave of power will soon subside. At best, 5 seconds. After that, it'll stop functioning. Her strength is immense, but it only lasts 5 seconds. Of course, in the star-shattering stage, 5 seconds is an incredibly long time, but that's all. It's incomplete. Her output included, she can't move in the same flow of time as me. The acceleration of consciousness at this stage is at an almost transcendental speed. Then, please be on your way. She, who I once feared. Click, in the frozen world, there, something like a disc rises behind her. What? It's a ring. Behind her back, like a halo, like an aureole, a perfectly round ring appears. At the same time, a sharp mechanical sound is heard from her. Celestial energy calculation device, activating. Switching to combat mode. Calculation speed for countering a star-shattering stage enemy approved. Wing. Inside the semi-transparent ring, which appears to be made of crystal, something black writhes. I will counterattack. Kwang. I let out a dry laugh as I watch her spear strike my sword. Celestial energy calculation device. Just what have you created this time, Mad Lord? Wu Wang. From my perspective, her spear technique is crude. It's only about as complete as the severing mountain swordsmanship I used before Kim Young-hoon improved it. But that's not the issue here. Attraction force. Kugugugik. I feel the power of a star surging within her. Simultaneously, the attraction force turns into repulsion, flinging me away with cosmic force. Kuwang. I am flung away by that cosmic repulsive force. In the next moment, she moves above me using the ground shrinking technique and concentrates the attraction force at the tip of her spear, thrusting it down towards me. Flash. A brilliant light bursts forth. With her single strike, it's as if heaven and earth are connected by a pillar of light, and a hole is pierced below. The very space of the bright cold realm distorts, and a hole is punched right through the dimension. Click. In a fleeting instant, she adjusts her stance through the celestial energy calculation device, and swings 2 short spears at me. I parry the slashes of the short spears with secluded valley, then rush towards her. Astonishing. The Mad Lord has indeed created a puppet at the star-shattering level, even if it's only for 5 seconds. Crunch. My left hand digs into her waist. She narrowly dodges my strike and climbs up a large rocky mountain before shifting her stance. In an instant, I reach in front of her. She tries to react, but I unleash 3 consecutive techniques, slamming her down along with the entire rocky mountain. Kugwang. She is unable to react in time, crashing down below before bouncing back up. I leap onto her body and extend both hands. Overlaying my hands with my sword, I slam down once more. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Dragon vein. Mountain and valley transformation. My left hand slashes down, cutting her, while my right hand penetrates sword energy into her body, erupting the power within as if reshaping the terrain from the inside. Quaching, quaching. I hear the sounds of mechanical components inside the puppet's body shattering. But it seems this level of damage doesn't impair her functionality, as she starts responding to me again. In the world of moments. There, she and I exchange countless blows. Splurt. We pierce through the clouds and clash in the sky. She tries to push me back using the paired wing spear technique. Using a changing technique, she attempts to expose my weaknesses, but I disrupt her internally again with Mountain Echo's Valley response. She mixes the illusory moves and domineering moves of the paired wing spear to attack me with domineering force within her illusionary strikes, but I counter it by absorbing the force and sending it back with the echoing valley. When beams of light shoot out from both her hands, I retaliate by unleashing beams of ghostly energy from my 42 eyes. As she attempts to collapse the entire space through attraction force, I slice through the entire space with accumulating dust forms a mountain. Shukwaning. The force of accumulating dust forms a mountain not only cuts through the space but continues to surge forward relentlessly. She blocks the sword energy from accumulating dust forms a mountain, but its power propels her upward endlessly, toward the sky above the bright cold realm. I chase after her, overlaying the all-heavens sword onto my body. Before long, Zhejiang. She is pushed back by accumulating dust forms a mountain, reaching the end of the bright cold realm's sky. The dimensional barrier, also known as the world shield force. Towards the her, who has reached that veil, I charge at her with my sword enveloping my body. Quaning. It feels as if the entire bright cold realm is reverberating. At the same time, the distortion of the world shield force is visible to the naked eye. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Deep Mountain. Originally, Deep Mountain is a move that digs deep into the opponent's space and slices upward. But this time, I modified the technique to slash while body slamming. In other words, it doesn't just end with a body slam. Surring. I lift my sword energy upwards at her, who is stuck within the distorted world shield force. Flash. Along with that, the already completely distorted world shield force of the bright cold realm explodes entirely. Quagwagwang. She is flung outside the bright cold realm. She tries to regain her stance and respond to me. But I accelerate my consciousness even further and extend both hands. Sword formation. 12,000. From my entire body, colorless glass swords are unleashed. The sword formation I completed together with Hongsu Ryong encircles her. 3,000 colorless glass swords each produce 3 additional split shadows, becoming a formation of 12,000 swords. The sword formation seems to rotate around her before gradually starting to close in. This is the end. With a loud shout, I rapidly tighten the sword formation. A burst of brilliant light erupts. Flash. With the blinding white light, an overwhelming attraction force concentrates into one spot. She emerges from the sword formation. One of her short spears is broken, and one of her arms is so tattered that it's nearly unusable. Her entire body is severely damaged. And I can finally see her face. Chapter 443, Descent 5. As the white cloth covering her face is torn apart, the prosopagnosia spell that was cast upon it disappears. Editor. Prosopagnosia equals face blindness. Thanks to that, I am now able to clearly see her face, both with my naked eye and my consciousness. It's full of pockmarks. Her face is rough and angular, and honestly, she doesn't come across as a beauty. However, there is an inexplicable sense of dignity in her appearance. In life, she must have been an excellent martial artist, as well as a wise and noble woman. Click. She readjusts her posture through the celestial energy calculation device. In life, I don't know how she was, but now, she is nothing more than a mere battle puppet. Having reached this realm, while I might lose to a human, I no longer lose to mere puppets. Kigurgurgurgek, gurgurgek, garurururu, chiarurururu. Outside the bright cold realm, the vestiges of the interdimensional void begin to swarm in. There aren't any at the star-shattering stage yet. That much is enough. Once again, she and I clash. A vestige, resembling a distorted long-tailed tit from the world of the dead, opens its 7 mouths on its body towards us. While exchanging blows with her, we move inside the vestige, exploding its body and emerging again. The vestiges cannot keep up with our speed, reduced to mere obstacles in the terrain. She, realizing that she cannot win in a direct confrontation, hides behind the vestiges to avoid my attacks, adopting a strategy of crushing me from a distance with attraction force. She moves behind 3 large vestiges. Movement technique. Mountain Lord soaring flight. I become the Mountain Lord. Like a large beast resembling a tiger, I tear through the vestiges, rushing towards her. The severing mountain swordsmanship's Mountain Tiger and Mountain Lord soaring flight combine, forming the image of a giant tiger leaping to bite her with its fangs. Crunch. Her left shoulder is torn off. The countless mechanical devices inside become visible. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Heavenly Lake. Preventing her from struggling, I use Heavenly Lake to absorb all the power within her into my domain. Originally, this technique traps the opponent's movements for a brief moment within the sword, limiting their actions. However, when combined with the integrated Tao domain, it feels as though I am draining all of her power, much like absorbing Essence devilish arts. I grip her by the neck and right shoulder and leap toward the bright cold realm. Kwang. The dimensional barrier of the bright cold realm distorts as we fall back into its interior. 2 gaping holes remain in the sky where I have pierced through. Fortunately, the world's regenerative power is closing them, but 1 or 2 vestiges will likely slip in. Holding on to her, I cast a net of curses into the sky, sealing the 2 holes. Temporarily, any vestiges trying to enter will dissolve on contact. With her in my grasp, we continue to plummet from the sky of the bright cold realm. I use the 1,000-pound drop technique and attraction force to accelerate the fall. I'll destroy it, both her and the power source of a star I sense within. At this level of acceleration, it's possible. Sensing that she will be shattered if this continues, she struggles frantically to escape from my grasp. But it's no use. I press her down even harder, suppressing her movements completely. This is the end. Let's finish this now. The ill-fated connection between she and I will finally come to an end. Warururuk. Our bodies start to burn. There's not much distance left until we reach the ground. Disappear. That cannot happen. Exclamation mark question mark quote. Flash. I flinch for a moment, and in that instant, she shines in front of my eyes and vanishes. In the vast, expansive sky. Now, it's just me here. That just now, an awkward but fast voice. However, it feels strange in some way. Wonderfully mysterious fortress. The wonderfully mysterious fortress used the power of the realm annihilation ground shrinking formation to snatch her out of my grasp. It synchronized with the power of the star inside her body, instantly pulling her away. Clearly, it had been designed so that she could return in emergencies. But I can't help but be shocked by the voice I just heard. Was that just now, the personality of the wonderfully mysterious fortress? Even at the 1,000-year point, there was nothing like that. The Mad Lord isn't the type to create something like that either. If so, that means the personality must have arisen within the wonderfully mysterious fortress by itself. What is this? Is there a reason for something like that to have appeared in this life? Baffled by the unexpected development in the wonderfully mysterious fortress, I chase after it as it moves to the edge of the bright cold realm through the realm annihilation ground shrinking formation. No, inside the wonderfully mysterious fortress, the Mad Lord is wailing. Before him lies her, with her left shoulder torn off and her entire body shaken and battered. The Judgment Magic Artifact detected an unknown threat targeting him and triggered the realm annihilation ground shrinking formation. In that fleeting moment, she protected the formation. It took about 3 seconds for the wonderfully mysterious fortress to move. And as soon as those 3 seconds were up, she, in her current broken state, was transmitted in front of Mad Lord. This means that the opponent was a monster capable of reducing her at the star-shattering level to such a mess within just 3 seconds. The Mad Lord clutches her body, sobbing. I swore never to let you get hurt again. Why are you hurt? Why did you let her get hurt? Zhou Yian, is this your limit? Is this the end? What is this nonsense? She got hurt. Hurt. Clank clank clank. Countless puppet arms emerge from the wonderfully mysterious fortress, starting to repair her. But the vital parts aren't damaged, right? She's okay, right? The repairs will also be quick and, what absolute nonsense. You let her get hurt. We almost lost her again, and you say what? Hey, calm down, there's no point in fighting. No, what I'm saying is that these injuries aren't even that severe, so there's no need to make a fuss. Shut up. I'm saying shut, you bastard 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 bastard. Shudder, shudder shudder shudder. Blood tears pour from the Mad Lord's eyes. He repairs her at a terrifying speed, stroking her hand. I was wrong. Please 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 let us live together for 8,000 years and see the spring flowers bloom at the place we made our vows. For a long while, the Mad Lord holds her hand, shedding both blood and tears simultaneously. Then, he suddenly turns to glance sharply at a corner of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Yes, it's you bastards. You're the ones together with the one who hurt her, aren't you? Before his eyes, a projection appears, showing the situation inside the wonderfully mysterious fortress. It reveals a corner of the fortress where the Nether crossing ship is lodged. Fine. I'll catch every last one of you and turn you into auxiliary parts for her. You Black Ghost Valley ghost bastards. Don't expect any mercy from me today. Furious, the Mad Lord waves his hands wildly. Simultaneously, the wonderfully mysterious fortress trembles. She is fully repaired with a few parts replaced, and even the artificial star inside her is swapped out for a new one, leaving her in perfect condition. However, with an expression telling that he cannot contain his fury, the Mad Lord shouts. Capture the intruders, bring every single one of them to me alive, and lay them on the experiment table. At his command, countless puppets fly towards the Nether crossing ship. Coo-goo-goo-goo-goo. Inside the wonderfully mysterious fortress, the Nether crossing ship, having barely succeeded in spatial teleportation before the realm annihilation ground shrinking formation was triggered, is lodged in one of the fortress's factories. Kia. From within the ship, Ghost Kings crawl out, followed by Kim Yeon, Kim Young-hoon, Jaeon Myung-hoon, Oh Yun-sok, Seo Ran, Shi-ho, Hong Fan, and Azure Tiger Saint. This is quite nerve-wracking already. Kim Young-hoon clicks his tongue, surveying his surroundings. Each puppet, easily at the integration stage Grand Cultivator rank or of Demon King level, numbers in the hundreds. 100 of those like Yuk Rin, haha. Well, we can at least manage to hold out, can't we? Jaeon Myung-hoon, with a slightly unnerved expression, clicks his tongue while eyeing the mass of puppets. Oh Yun-sok, clad in the blue sky armor gifted to him by Azure Tiger Saint, clenches and unclenches his fists. Even if we can't, we have to. Seo Ran and Shi-ho, busy operating the Nether crossing ship, bombard the enemies with its cannons alongside the Ghost Kings. Hong Fan, with 8 flying daggers tied to strings connected to his fingers, unleashes poison. Kim Young-hoon, Jaeon Myung-hoon, Oh Yun-sok, and Hong Fan, the 4 integration stage powers, form a protective perimeter around Kim Yeon. Likewise, Azure Tiger Saint, Shi-ho, and others form a protective circle around Seo Ran. Kuururung, a puppet of the Western Flame race at the integration stage, unleashes a beam of fire. Hong Fan steps forward. Now at the integration stage, he spreads both his arms wide. Ku-goo-goo-goo-goo. Integrated Dao Domain. Darkness World and Hei Shijia. Kururururu. His body seems to expand, transforming into the shape of a massive centipede. He becomes a world filled with pitch-black toxic energy. The poison, rising to a higher plane even within the plane of Qi, morphs into something more metaphysical. The life-devouring poison rises to a higher plane, becoming a darkness that consumes both light and heat. Hong Fan, now one with his domain, coils protectively around his comrades. Warururururuk. The flames fail to penetrate Hong Fan's body and are instead absorbed into the darkness. A puppet of the Supreme Tiger race leaps towards Hong Fan, swinging its front paw down. Kugwang. But the puppet's paw is stopped by a giant hand. From within Hong Fan's coiled form, a giant arm rises. It's Oh Yun-sok, now in the integration stage. Integrated Dao Domain. Ku-goo-goo-goo-goo. Oh Yun-sok's body expands and his domain envelops the surroundings. Cold lamp underneath the great starry night palace, Da Xingyi Gongdi Han Dang. Chuaik. Around him, a vast starry sky unfurls. It is the universe. In the midst of that cosmos, Oh Yun-sok alone becomes a blazing blue flame. Kurururururu. The blue flame gradually changes color. He transforms into a purple star. Kurururung. A sound resembling thunder rumbles, and Oh Yun-sok's body becomes covered in the bones of all sorts of demon beasts. At the very bottom of the great starry night, Da Xingyi, a single cold lamp burns, Han Dang, dispelling the desolate chill of the universe, pushing back the supreme tiger race demon king puppet. Kwang, great heavenly rain of the charged lightning veil. Jaeon Myung-hoon also transforms into a two-headed, six-armed thunder god, expanding his domain. A world where the rain of red lightning falls. The domains of the three integration stage powers overlap. Domain connection. Hong Fan's darkness world, Oh Yun-sok's cold lamp underneath the great starry night palace, and Jaeon Myung-hoon's great heavenly rain of the charged lightning veil. The three domains connect, intensifying in power. In the darkness untouched by light, Oh Yun-sok's cold lamp and Jaeon Myung-hoon's red lightning manifest domains. And in the center of that darkness, surrounded and protected by them, Kim Yeon sits cross-legged, focusing her consciousness. Wo Wang, her threads of consciousness gather, creating something before her eyes. Worururuk, it's a consciousness clone, like a white flame flickering, her consciousness sways, creating a clone resembling her in front of her. Seo Eun-yun's words about the plan come to her mind. Once Yeon's play is activated, the Mad Lord will disappear on his own, and the wonderfully mysterious fortress will be theirs. A plan that appears exceptionally straightforward and clear. However, as the one with the greatest consciousness among those present, she feels an inexplicable sense of foreboding. Even though it can't be read through celestial energy, her vast consciousness, which can perceive even the plane of soul, senses something ominous from that plane. Negative thoughts amplify in her mind, and an inexplicable guilt begins to weigh on her heart. As a result, her heart wavers, and the clone before her eyes begins to flicker as well. But she recalls something and steadies her mind. Hyunghwa, she ponders. She has been thinking about this for a very long time. What is love? She does not know what love is. She doesn't understand it. Even as a student, she couldn't comprehend her friends who fell in love and dated boyfriends. To Kim Yeon, her parents are merely people who fought each other, abandoned her at her grandmother's house, and didn't care to take her back. Even her grandmother raised her more out of pity than love. Without ever learning about parental love or romantic love, she was thrown into society. Knowing that she herself is somewhat abnormal, Kim Yeon never openly spoke about this fact. Maybe she had mentioned it once when drinking with Kang Min-hee and Oh Hae-seo. Kang Min-hee said that time would solve it, while Oh Hae-seo became exceedingly kind to her from that day on. And as Kang Min-hee said, time did solve it. The feeling of liking arose. She developed feelings for a senior at work. But in reality, that senior had no interest in her at all. Holding on to those feelings, she fell into this bizarre world. Afterward, that senior recognized her feelings. He acknowledged Kim Yeon's affection, but that was it. Seo Eun-yun ultimately rejected her. Kim Yeon insisted she would continue to like him. But recently, as she spent more time with Seo Eun-yun, she began to realize something. No, not just her, but everyone including Kim Young-hoon, Jaeon Myung-hoon, and Oh Yun-sok felt it too. Seo Eun-yun is insane. He isn't in his right mind. She doesn't know why, but since coming to this world, his mind snapped. Even so, Jaeon Myung-hoon insists on believing in Seo Eun-yun, trusting him. Kim Young-hoon also believes, claiming that martial arts never lie and that Seo Eun-yun's true nature has not turned evil. Oh Yun-sok believes out of loyalty. However, Kim Yeon came to realize that her feelings toward Seo Eun-yun have changed. Her affection remains unchanged, but the nature of that affection has subtly shifted from romantic love to sympathy. The moment she realized this, her mind wavered significantly. She thought she had discovered the emotion called love. She thought that this feeling would never change. But it degenerated. Then, does that mean love isn't such a great power? That question arose in her. And that question was answered when she met Buk Hyunghwa. Buk Hyunghwa saw her mother's image in Kim Yeon and loved Kim Yeon as if Kim Yeon were her mother. By receiving love, Kim Yeon finally understood. True love is an unchanging force. Therefore, Kim Yeon's changing affections before were not true love. That's why Kim Yeon changed the way she addressed Seo Eun-yun. She felt ashamed. It embarrasses her that she pretended to be close by calling him Eun-yun Oppa, even though she didn't truly love him. And now, Kim Yeon wants to know how to truly love someone. Yeon, from now on, you're going to live at your grandmother's house. Okay, a memory from her childhood surfaces in her mind. Mom isn't going to live with me. Sorry, Yeon, Mom doesn't think she loves your dad anymore. And it's the same for him. Not loving anymore. That is the reason Kim Yeon's parents separated. And why they left her. Hence, she learned one rule from a young age. If you don't love, people will leave. From that moment on, she tried her best to love others. She didn't want anyone to leave her side. I wish no one will leave me. That is her deepest wish. Rule. The moment she confronts this desire, the clone in front of her grows even larger. Kim Yeon opens her eyes. The pure white clone also opens its eyes. Pasasasasa. At the same time, thousands, tens of thousands, and even hundreds of millions of threads of consciousness pour out from the clone's body. The consciousness threads pierce through the integrated Tao domains protecting her, directly connecting to various parts of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Korarararik. Information from every corner of the wonderfully mysterious fortress floods into her mind. She feels herself entering a pure white world. The wonderfully mysterious fortress everything. The cradle of all its information. In front of her, she sees a giant, pure white sphere. Inside this sphere lies the control over the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Just as she is about to reach for the control authority. Flinch. In the corner of the pure white world that enters Kim Yeon's vision. She sees a shadow exuding a sinister aura. Squirm. The shadow writhes, then begins to coalesce in midair. You are. Kim Yeon's pupils contract sharply. It's Oh Hi Seo. Hi, our dear Yeon. Thump. As if emerging from the depths of the sea. Black water drips from her body as Oh Hi Seo approaches Kim Yeon. Kim Yeon doesn't particularly step back. You've grown a lot. You're even looking me directly in the eye. Why are you here? Normally, wouldn't you be more curious about how I got here? The shadowy form of Oh Hi Seo caresses Kim Yeon's cheek. I'll tell you, since the why and the how are connected. Oh Hi Seo's mouth opens. You know I got married, right? Yes, well, roughly, that's right. The person who became my husband, Seo Weol, his superior ordered him to incapacitate the Mad Lord, the last star-shattering level force left in the bright cold realm, and Seo Weol answered to his superior that he would bring down the Mad Lord using a secret art called Tainted Soul filling the heavens that he planted within the wonderfully mysterious fortress. But, Seo Weol said this, even with his tainted soul filling the heavens, he wouldn't be able to fully erode the wonderfully mysterious fortress without a significant sacrifice. So, through tainted soul filling the heavens, I came here. I've been hiding here, waiting for the right opportunity. I heard you would return here one day, you see. She smiles faintly, stroking Kim Yeon's cheek again. Do you have something to say to me? Kim Yeon, expressionless, meets Oh Hi Seo's gaze and asks. Oh Hi Seo's eyes curve into crescent moons. Seo Weol's superior, the owner of this heavenly domain, the master of all negative force, they will soon come to the bright cold realm. The wonderfully mysterious fortress is a construct built upon blood. If you connect your mind to it, you too will be tied and judged for its sins. So, I'll tell you a way. A way, yes, a way to escape the gaze of the owner of negative force. If you use this method, you'll be able to avoid the owner's eyes and properly control the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Why are you telling me this? In response to Kim Yeon's question, Oh Hi Seo smiles brightly. Because I want something from you. What do you want? It's simple. When the great being descends, secretly seize control of the wonderfully mysterious fortress, and activate its hidden power. Kim Yeon's expression turns puzzled. Does she want me to activate Yeon's play? How does that benefit you? It's strange. Kim Yeon knows a bit about her nature. A person who doesn't do anything without personal gain. That is Oh Hi Seo. As she pulls away from Kim Yeon, she speaks. Because that's what Seo Weol wants. Why are you doing what Seo Weol wants? He made me an offer. That he will send me back to our original world. Oh Hi Seo's eyes tremble. I just want to go back. I'm tired of this power too. I'm sick of this vast world. There are too many immense beings here. Our world doesn't have such things. Her eyes reflect fear. The terror and dread when she saw the chief judge in the darkness is etched into her mind. If I help Seo Weol with his plan, I can return to our original world. He showed me hope. It's quite the reasonable plan. Ho, I can't tell you the details, but one thing's for sure. If I help Seo Weol, there's hope to return home. Ho, even as she reveals her fear, Oh Hi Seo keeps smiling. So, Yeon use the method I told you, and when the immense yin descends, take control of the wonderfully mysterious fortress and activate it. That's the only way. for us to see hope. Ho ho. Oh Seo gradually melts away as she distances herself from Kim Yeon. Completely melted into a shadow, Oh Seo finally dissolves entirely into the pure white world and disappears. Kim Yeon watches this scene and closes her eyes. Indeed, just as Oh Seo said, negative forces are gradually growing stronger. It seems true that something is trying to descend upon this land. Without immediately seizing control of the wonderfully mysterious fortress in the pure white world, she sits down cross-legged. Oh Seo is clearly acting strange. And according to Seo Eun-yun, Seo Weol uses a secret art that infects the minds of others. It's possible that Oh Seo is already infected by Seo Weol, and everything she said is a lie. If Kim Yeon follows her words, she might also become infected. But strangely, she doesn't feel worried. Why, am I not afraid? Thump, thump. Ever since the day she realized that what she had been doing wasn't true love, Kim Yeon's vast cold heavenly circle began to emit a subtle power. And every time she contemplates what love truly is, the vast cold heavenly circle starts to spin ever more strongly. When Kim Yeon returned to the bright cold realm carrying this contemplation, she felt the power sensed from the vast cold heavenly circle flowing into her. She overflows with an inexplicable confidence that she cannot be infected. Kim Yeon believes that the vast cold heavenly circle is protecting her. Then, it should be fine to follow her words a little. If it were Seo Eun-yun, he would have split Oh Seo in half and killed her the moment he saw her, but Kim Yeon decides to follow her words. It's because the vast cold heavenly circle instills an inexplicable but absolute confidence in her, as if whispering, it's okay. Kim Yeon sits cross-legged and waits for the moment Oh Seo mentioned. Bright cold realm, heavenly lotus mountain, inside a certain cave within. At the center of the cave, Baek-woon sits cross-legged, her eyes half closed. I sensed something strange ever since the frequency of pollination among the race increased by 30%. So it was your doing. Baek-woon speaks, staring into the deep darkness somewhere within the cave. Do you not know whom I serve? How dare you try to enter here while fearing them? And then, a voice comes from the darkness. If it were back when you were a sacred master, I would have worried about being discovered. However, as an esteemed one, do you think you're worthy of receiving the attention of the light? They know of all phenomena in the universe. Without having even fought, you act as if you know. I, on the other hand, have faced them dozens of times. It wasn't you but the chief judge of the netherworld, was it not? Elder, Blood Wyan. At Baek-woon's words, the darkness falls silent for a moment. And then, after a while, Zing, the entire bright cold realm trembles violently. As though someone, in a fit of rage, is shaking the entire bright cold realm. Seo Eun-yun, who is heading in the direction of the wonderfully mysterious fortress, suddenly stops and looks up. In his 42 eyes, a gleam of terror flickers. With a stunned expression, Seo Eun-yun opens his mouth. What is that? At the top of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. There, the Mad Lord, who is in the middle of operating something, hurriedly spins around. Behind him, the celestial energy calculation device is spinning furiously. The Mad Lord looks at the celestial energy calculation device with a puzzled expression. Yin, what's this? Why is only this character appearing? Is it broken? Yin. At that moment, the Mad Lord instinctively looks up at the sky. The madness-filled Mad Lord temporarily regains his sanity. What? Inside the storage scroll of Lofty Dragon True Person. Within the care layer, someone's thoughts look up at the sky, rubbing their face in shame as their body trembles. With what face shall I meet my friends? The tall tree race, the paired wings race, the fighting ghost race, the fungal bone race, the rotting owl race, the 13 races of the earth tribe, and the heart tribe. All the living beings residing in the bright cold realm look up at the sky with stunned faces. The sky is turning red. Descend. From the sky, a colossal voice, like that of a heavenly tribulation, reverberates throughout the bright cold realm. Name of bright cold, Guang Han. The light Guang of the bright cold realm fades as it begins to transform into the blood yin realm, Shui Yin Jia. Translator notes. Charged lightning veil of the great heavenly rain to great heavenly rain of the charged lightning veil. Changed it to put the emphasis on the rain, similar to how the emphasis is on cold for Oh Yun-sok's domain. 6 divine powers, Yippee. Do. The world starts to change. The sky turns blood red. The shadows across the entire middle realm begin to ripple as if alive. Ooh, negative forces temporarily project personalities, and heart heavenly demons begin to appear en masse. Of course, they all flee from my vicinity, but for the ordinary living beings of the bright cold realm, it will be fatal. I look up with cold sweat dropping. I can feel it. Light has been severed. It feels like the ancient force realm. No celestial energy can be read from the sky. At the same time, I feel the flower soul filling the heavens squirming wildly inside my body. I can tell, there is no longer celestial energy flowing in the sky. Instead, what flows is the formula of purple soul filling the heavens formula. I see now. I recall Yuk Rin, the secret art used to establish an attraction force with blood yin on Cherry Blossom Dragon Island. That secret art, without a doubt, was a method for forming an attraction with purple soul filling the heavens. So, the purple soul filling the heavens found in the purple soul jade seal must have originally belonged to blood yin. Purple soul filling the heavens is completed through inheritance. And the purple soul filling the heavens that resided within the purple soul jade seal was inherited from the blood yin. I sigh in relief knowing that the formula of flower soul filling the heavens does not assimilate with purple soul filling the heavens, even though it reacts to it in the sky. From the moment it became flower soul filling the heavens, this secret art must have fully escaped blood yin's influence. Thank you, Riowa. Thanks to Riowa, my soul is safe. But now is not the time for relief. The world is changing. Kugugugugu. Thick blood devilish energy. Wu Wang, Yuan Yu, buried in a corner of my domain, suddenly starts to react wildly. I had long deemed it nearly useless, so I kept only a shard of Yuan Yu for safekeeping. That Yuan Yu reacts to the power of the blood yin realm. When I release Yuan Yu outside, it starts absorbing the blood devilish energy like crazy, starting to regenerate itself. Gurgle, gurgle, in an instant, the regenerated Yuan Yu's cultivation begins to rise. Surpassing the nascent soul stage, it skyrockets past the grand perfection heavenly being stage, reaching the quasi-4-axis stage. Simultaneously, a sinister glint appears in the Yuan Yu's eyes. What are you? I realize something has taken over Yuan Yu's body and ask. And Yuan Yu smirks with an eerie smile and opens its mouth. Have you been well, Dao? Clench. It's Xiao Wei'ol. Without needing to ask, I pull out the colorless glass sword and thrust it into his mouth. Twitch, twitch, but Xiao Wei'ol, through Yuan Yu's body, forms another mouth near the back of the throat and continues to speak. You're quite violent, Taoist, ho-ho. Why have you come? I press the sub-heart sword against its soul, asking threateningly. He smiles faintly. I am here under the orders of my master, Elder Blood Yin, to possess Taoist. A star-shattering level hard tribe requires special attention for possession, after all. Quote. I look into Xiao Wei'ol's eyes. He smiles as he looks back into mine. Quote. Sirring. I pull the sword back out from his mouth. Perhaps madmen understand each other in some twisted way. However, reading Xiao Wei'ol's true intent from within his darkness, I begin to crush his body with my attraction force. Xiao Wei'ol extends both his hands, clinging to me as if trying to possess me. And then, I ask through hard language. I understand your words well. Interpreting it in Xiao Wei'ol's language, the meaning would be something like this. Blood Yin is neither my master nor someone I wish to follow. Let's kill them together. If it's a star-shattering stage-hard tribe, there is a way. It's laughable. It feels like just yesterday when Xiao Wei'ol referred to himself as Blood Yin. But how can I trust you? You were the one who stabbed me in the back that time with Kong Minhee. Xiao Wei'ol responds with a faint smile. I'll take good care of your body, Taoist Xiao, ho-ho. I've brought a replica black ancient paper. If we form a contract with you, Taoist Xiao, as the contract overseer, the contract will overwhelmingly favor you, and there will be no concern of betrayal. I glare at him. Do you think things will go your way? You won't betray me. Just accept it. This is fate. The bright cold realm is now over, and this world will become the blood yin realm. Then, let's make the contract under the assumption of betrayal. Don't trust me, use me. Right now, I need Taoist Xiao, and Taoist Xiao needs my knowledge. The bright cold realm will become the blood yin realm. I have a way to blow everything up if things go wrong. Give me a solid reason why I should trust you. You swore an oath on your main body yet you evaded it with nonsense saying we were never on the same side from the beginning. I suppose I'll have to tell you my elder's purpose. Do you know why the blood yin realm's heavenly fiends have been targeting the bright cold realm so persistently? They left behind more suitable realms like the True Devil realm and the Nether Ghost realm. Even the Ancient Force realm or the Purple Gold realm could have been good options. But why do you think they're after the bright cold realm? Very well. Given my current difficult situation, I will take a step back. I will show you a way to trust me. Try dropping Taoist Sayos, Immortal Beast True Blood, onto the replica black ancient paper. That will sprout the trust between us. I look at Seo Wayol with suspicion. As we remain cautious of the red sky that has overtaken above, we continue the charade of one acting like a heavenly fiend to possess the other and the other resisting. At the same time, we engage in a proper conversation through heart language. However, from my perspective, I can't tell if this is really a proper conversation. This bastard that only spits lies, what trick is he pulling now? Even though I doubt him, I prepare to drop my Immortal Beast True Blood onto one of the replica black ancient papers in my domain. At least for now, nothing seems too out of place. His tainted soul filling the heavens isn't in play, and there are no suspicious signs. But you can never know with this guy. Quick, I connect my wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon to Seo Wayol's consciousness. Tell me, why Blood Yin is targeting the bright cold realm? I've linked our consciousnesses. Even if you try to sever the connection and escape, it's useless. My sub-heart sword will pursue you to the very ends and reconnect us. If this black ancient paper connects my mind to some true immortal's domain or draws their attention, you'll suffer the consequences with me. Isn't it obvious? Surely, you must already know. Chief Judge of the Netherworld, Nether Devil True Lord Yu Hao Te, Vast Cold Heavenly Lord, Deputy Judge Han Young, Reincarnation Judge Yu Su Ryan, and Purple Gold Heavenly Lord. That these 5 lords waged war against something at the Sun and Moon Heavenly Domain and perished. Kuog, this snake bastard. Black blood flows from my entire body, and Seo Wayol, too, seems to have taken a serious shock as parts of Yuan Yu's body start melting away. But as blood devilish energy pours into him, he begins to recover quickly. I will bear it, so please drop the Immortal Beast True Blood onto the black ancient paper. In preparation for the possibility of my mind being overtaken the moment I place my Immortal Beast True Blood onto the black ancient paper, I split my consciousness and drop the True Blood onto the paper. Quack. At the same time, I feel part of my mind being transported somewhere. This is clank. As I come to my senses, my consciousness finds itself on top of one of the weights of a scale. And on the opposite weight of the scale, Seo Wayol is sitting in a cross-legged position. I growl as I look at him. Where is this place now? There's no need to worry, Taoist. Here, we don't need to have such a bothersome conversation. First, please take a look at the one holding the scale. At those words, I unconsciously turn my gaze toward the top of the scale. It's not because I followed Seo Wayol's suggestion, but because I unconsciously thought, of course, that's what I should do. Exclamation mark quote. And what I see is a giant Ju Ren. No, this isn't a being that can be called a mere giant. A giant god Ju Xian. This is a colossal god Xian formed from the vapor of chaos. Its size is so immense that all I can comprehend is that it's huge, without any clear sense of how large it truly is. Seo Wayol smiles from the opposite weight of the scale and speaks. Please show your respect, Taoist Seo. This is the immortal beast of the human race, the god of names. The master of all contracts and oaths, the immortal beast, Haion Go Zongu, the high spirit grand Dao 9 heavens overseeing fate preserving life celestial great emperor, Sheng Ling Gao Dao Ju Tian Si Ming Bao Sheng Tian Shang Da Di. TLN. So, this title is taken from Zhao Xuanlang, a Taoist god from the Song dynasty. Emperor Zhenjiang of Song basically honored the Yellow Emperor as the ancestor of the Zhao family and gave them the title High Spirit Grand Dao 9 Heavens Overseeing Fate Preserving Life Heavenly Venerable Great Emperor, Sheng Ling Gao Dao Ju Tian Si Ming Bao Sheng Tian Zun Da Di. Tremendous just swapped Heavenly Venerable Tian Zun to Celestial Tian Shang. From the opposite weight, Seo Wayol bows towards Haion Go, and I, startled, hurriedly offer my respect as well. However, Haion Go doesn't react in any particular way. It seems that what stands before us is not the main body but some kind of principle or law. As I look up at the giant god of vapor I notice something odd. This is clearly an existence above the rank of a true immortal, but why does nothing happen even while seeing it? Just as I am pondering this, Seo Wayol smiles and provides the answer. How does it feel to stand before the ancestor god, Zhu Xian, seed of the human race's immortal beast? The immortal beast of the human race, Haion Go. Which means, in some sense, this colossal god and I are of the same race. So, is this the method you spoke of? You could say so. How fortunate it is that Taoist possesses the true blood of Go, ancient Gu. When the power of Go and the black, ancient paper meets, the subjects are brought to the sanctuary of contracts and oaths that Hyeon Go governs. Here, there's no need to worry about the gaze of blood yin. Gu. I nod, feeling the overwhelming presence of Hyeon Go. Indeed, the divine and sacred aura gently emanating from this giant god is no trivial matter. Even an existence like blood yin would be unable to easily spy on us. I can sense this certainty on a genetic level. I ask Seo Whale a question. If we make a contract here, can I trust you? Yes. As long as I'm a mortal being, any contract made here is something I can never break. No, even if I were to attain the realm of true immortals and become an immortal being, unless I transcend Hyeon Go's rank, it's impossible to violate it. As fate supports the contract, even if one wishes to break it, the heavenly fortune will adjust to ensure that it cannot be broken. I nod in agreement. If it's to this extent, even a snake-scorpion bastard should be able to be trusted. But after nodding, my expression hardens. Tell me, what's the reason that someone like you, who doesn't do trust, is going this far to form a contract with me? What's the reason behind Blood Yin's objectives? How serious is it that you're willing to go this far just to cooperate with me? Seo Whale's smile fades. It doesn't disappear entirely, but knowing that his smile only fades when he's touching on something deeply connected to his essence, I realize how gravely serious this matter is. I mentioned before, didn't I? While avoiding Blood Yin's gaze, I told you about the 5 great beings who fought something, and how all 5 died afterwards. You did. The 5 great being did indeed perish. But the second strongest among them, Yu Hao-tae, managed to leave behind a leftover. It seems that here, there's no problem casually mentioning the names of true immortals. The truth about Blood Yin begins to spill from Seo Whale's lips. Seat holder of good and evil, judge of morality Yu Hao-tae. His leftover only managed to cling to one part of his vast authority, the seat of evil vice, and was reborn anew. The vague suspicions of Had are confirmed by Seo Whale's words. Since I already suspected as much, I'm not particularly surprised. But what Seo Whale says next leaves me in utter shock. But, if the second strongest left behind a leftover, do you know what the strongest, vast cold heavenly lord, left behind? What did they leave? Their life. The vast cold heavenly lord, who was known as the strongest god, Xian, 500,000 years ago, after fighting something, is still alive. Flinch. I stare at Seo Whale with confused eyes, and he continues. Vast cold heavenly lord's soul disappeared somewhere, leaving them in a state akin to brain death. Their body, however, even in a vegetative state, remains alive. Even now. 445. My mouth gapes at the astonishing truth. The vast cold heavenly lord, is alive. If so, this bright cold realm is, still alive. Isn't it a plausible truth to consider? Why do you think the ones above had to forcibly rename the vast cold Guanghan realm to the bright cold Guanghan realm 500,000 years ago? Why is it that the bright cold realm has the most abundant spiritual energy of all the middle realms, and why do those who come here have a fate filled with more blessings than those in other middle realms? Why is it that the bright cold realm is always referred to as the strongest and most supreme of the 6 middle realms? Other middle realm esteemed ones can propose their own titles and the sacred master accepts them as such, but why must the esteemed ones of the bright cold realm have titles that include, Heaven Tien, or, Light Guang that the sacred master imposes? There's much more, but this is the gist of it. Sacred Master Baekwoon said the reason for the sacred masters in the middle realms is because if they neglect these realms, powerful vestiges will be born. And, as far as I know, vestiges only come from corpses. But if what you're saying is true, doesn't that create a contradiction? I look at Seo Whale with suspicion, and he smiles faintly, placing his hand over his chest. I swear upon the name of immortal beast Hyeon Go. Everything I, Seo Whale, have just said is the truth. Wo Wang. Along with his words, the balance seems to tremble, and a pure white vapor brushes past Seo Whale's body. In this place, one cannot speak lies. The moment one utters a falsehood, they are immediately punished. If what I'm saying is true, then the other side must be lying. That means, Seo Whale smiles faintly, Sacred Master Baekwoon, other than her abhorrence for her race's acts of pollination, has always been famous for spewing lies. No, more accurately, while she doesn't lie, she is notorious for deceiving others with her words. Her words of preventing the birth of vestiges is not wrong, since the corpse of vast cold heavenly Lord will eventually truly die. Whether that's in 10 billion years or 100 billion years, who knows? Quote. It seems Baekwoon is a far more sinister existence than I initially thought. In any case, since it seems you've accepted the truth, let me tell you an old story. He begins his tale. The leftover of Nether Devil True Lord Yu Hao Te couldn't accept that he has died. Truly believing they are still Yu Hao Te, having forgotten his kind character and noble disposition, and remembering only the authority he wielded, they hoped to be reinstated in their seat. However, in the eyes of his comrades of the underworld, this Yu Hao Te of evil, who barely grasped a fraction of the authority Yu Hao Te wielded in his prime, was unworthy, and even their character and disposition fell far short. This is the hidden backstory of the bright cold realm I have long wondered about. If only their character had remained intact, they could have easily returned to their old position. But instead, they foolishly fell into the delusion that their authority is the problem. And so, Yu Hao Te of evil came to a certain decision. As the body of my old comrade, Vast Cold, is still alive, I will make it mine. Vast Cold's soul has left on a distant journey, with no telling if it will ever return. If I take control of Vast Cold's body, I can once again fully seize my seat, and those old comrades who dismissed me will welcome me once more. Ah, truly, what a vile and filthy decision it was. To covet the body of another in order to regain a seat that was never rightfully theirs, even worse, they still remembered that Vast Cold was once their friend. Ho ho, I tremble with rising disgust. However, that vile plan was never realized. I'm talking about the successor of Ancient Force True Lord, Lofty Dragon, and Yu Hao Te's immortal treasure, Saiyam. Unable to watch their former superior's corruption any longer, the two joined hands. Lofty Dragon quickly entered the vast cold realm before Yu Hao Te of evil could seize the body, accepting the loss of cultivation to become a sacred master to halt Yu Hao Te of evil. Saiyam, from within Yu Hao Te of evil's body, bound their mind. However, the corrupted Yu Hao Te of evil could not suppress their desire and eventually invaded the bright cold realm. From his lips flows the truth about the great war between the true devil realm and the vast cold realm that took place 500,000 years ago. It was a terrifying war. To the point those below the integration stage had to be protected in Lofty Dragon's animal pen. Though Yu Hao Te of evil's physical body was dead, it was still the body of the chief judge Yu Hao Te. The nether devil realm itself invaded the vast cold realm. In the end, Saiyam emerged from the nether devil realm and temporarily assumed the sacred master position of the vast cold realm, while Lofty Dragon recovered to the entering nirvana stage and faced Yu Hao Te of evil. After several years of war, Lofty Dragon finally used the serving command axe to decapitate a portion of Yu Hao Te of evil's head. Then, Saiyam burned their life force to transfer Yu Hao Te of evil's true soul into that severed head portion. The mural I saw on Cherry Blossom Dragon Island comes to mind. Lofty Dragon and Saiyam sacrificed their lives. Lofty Dragon squeezed out all of their own blood and Saiyam tore away their own essence. The blood of Lofty Dragon and the essence of Saiyam mixed, inscribing a new name onto Yu Hao Te of evil, who had been completely severed from their main body. I finally understand the creation myth of the Blood Yin realm. The blood of Lofty Dragon and the essence of Saiyam. The authority of these two divine beings became shackles, binding Yu Hao Te of evil. Thus, they became Blood Yin, Shui Yin. The nether devil realm became the true devil realm, and all the turbid energy and malevolent energy that once belonged to the true devil realm was carried away by Blood Yin. Within Blood Yin's body, a filthy, repugnant middle realm opened up. That is the Blood Yin realm, Shui Yin Jia. Quote. I see. The truths of the world, which I have been curious about all this time, are engraved into my mind. Blood Yin's desire for the living body of vast cold. That is the truth behind why the heavenly fiends of the Blood Yin realm have been targeting the bright cold realm all this time. Yes, but that's not all. A sneer spreads across Xiao Wei's lips. Blood Yin, stripped of their original name and forcibly given the new name of Blood Yin, fell into despair. Burdened with the new name, they could no longer reunite with the true devil realm and return to their original form. The hope of being reinstated became ever more distant. Therefore, they adjusted their goals slightly. From merely coveting the living body of Vast Cold, to devouring both Vast Cold's body and the seat Zuo they ruled. With the authority of the Tridakna Vast Cold Heavenly Lord, who once shook the 3,000 great thousand worlds, Blood Yin believed they could merge it with the seat of vice they already seized and be bestowed a new seat. A new seat, is something like that necessary? It is. The seat of the original Yu Hao Te became unusable after they were forcibly renamed, and they knew they couldn't handle the seat of vast cold on their own. Through Xiao Wei's words, I come to understand Blood Yin's true objective. To usurp vast cold's body and authority, merge it with the seat they already seized, and conduct a ritual to obtain a new seat, the seat of abundant offspring Zi Sun Zhang Duo. With that authority, they seek to be reinstated in the underworld. That is Blood Yin's ultimate goal. I let out a quiet sigh. It's a ridiculous story, but since Xiao Wei cannot lie, my trust goes in the opposite direction. With the flood of information from Xiao Wei, I cannot help but feel overwhelmed. It's shocking enough to learn that the bright cold realm is, in fact, alive, albeit in a comatose state, let alone the truth from 500,000 years ago and the true nature of Baek Woon. Moreover, now knowing Blood Yin's ultimate goal, I feel a surge of shock and try to calm my mind. So the name Blood Yin was created by lofty dragon's blood and the essence of Se-Eum, the first sacred master of the true devil realm. I immediately understand why Blood Yin created the black dragon race and the sea dragon race. For an immortal beast, the more descendants they have, the more power they channel to those descendants. Of course, to a genuine immortal beast, the authority passed on to their mortal descendants would be insignificant, like a drop in the ocean, so they wouldn't pay much attention to it. As long as they are alive, they can endlessly replenish that power anyways. But what if the immortal beast is dead? If the immortal beast is dead, the dead immortal beast's power wouldn't replenish, and if their descendants continue to siphon off it, the immortal beast's power will eventually be depleted, leaving the entire bloodline powerless. This means Blood Yin created countless black dragon and sea dragon descendants in an effort to escape the shackles of their own name. It's suspicious that the leaders of the black dragon race and sea dragon race all have names like Hyeon-Eum and Ya-Eum. Could it be an attempt to disperse the power contained in the name, Eum? That seems plausible. TLN. In case you forgot, Eum means yin. A faint smile. Xiao Wei continues speaking with a clear smile. The current situation is quite dire. If left unchecked as they are, the worst true immortal with the body of vast cold, Blood Yin, will be born. At the very least, a being surpassing a great net immortal will emerge. If that happens, the sun and moon heavenly domain will be finished at that moment. That's why I sincerely wish to join hands with you, Taoist Xiao. Xiao Wei extends his hand towards me from the opposite side of the scale. I look at Xiao Wei for a moment. Indeed, the current situation is terrifying. I still remember the power of the owner of Great Mountain. With a single mantra, they compressed and annihilated an entire heavenly domain. It's a moment terrifying enough to send chills down my spine, a memory both fearful and awe-inspiring. That wasn't even the main body, just a projection. In that case, if I assume Blood Yin manages to get their hands on Vast Cold's body, then the power of Blood Yin with Vast Cold's body might not fall too short of what I saw from the owner of Great Mountain. The weight of the name Vast Cold is that heavy. It is, without a doubt, a serious situation. However, I look at Xiao Wei and ask. So what's your goal, Xiao Wei? Blood Yin's objective is resurrection through Vast Cold's body. But I still don't know what Xiao Wei's genuine goal is. In response to my question, Xiao Wei smiles and says. To reunite with my family. Is Xiao Ran doing well? He's fine. I feel much more at ease without you by his side. I glare at him and ask. To reunite with your family? Is that really your goal? What are you going to do when you meet Xiao Ran? I'll pat him on the shoulder and tell him he's been through a lot. Above all, Ran and I, we share the same blood. I try to read Xiao Wei's intent or attack him with the sub-heart sword, but it seems that such things don't work in this space. What is he planning to do to Xiao Ran? I speak while looking at him. Sorry, but if you intend to endanger Xiao Ran through this incident, I cannot cooperate with your plan. I understand. Anyway, given the severity of the situation, I have no intention of getting into a verbal battle with Taoist Xiao. Limited to this plan, I will cause no harm to Taoist Xiao and his comrades and will only focus on my own path. The comrades affected by your tainted soul filling the heavens must not be included in the path you speak of. Agreed. I will focus solely on myself, and, for this matter alone, I will unconditionally cooperate with Taoist Xiao without betrayal. I will not pull wordplay like last time, saying, we weren't on the same side, so it's not betrayal. I nod. Good. In that case, although I'm not happy about it, let's join hands. Ho ho. A wise decision, Taoist Xiao. In front of Hyeon Go, we form a temporary alliance contract. Cooing. I feel the authority of a transcendent being binding us together. This is, quite literally, an action in the plane of fate. Since fate guarantees our contract, even if we want to break it, the very act of breaking it becomes impossible as celestial energy moves. Pot. Seo Whale's scale and my scale draw closer. I glance at Seo Whale and take his hand. Seo Whale and I, though temporarily, have formed a true alliance. 446. The contract is sealed, and we return once again to the place where we had been wrestling just moments before, stepping out from the sacred sanctuary of contracts and oaths. Squelch, squelch, I can feel Seo Whale, who is borrowing Yuan Yu's body, seeping unpleasantly into mine. For now, I need to pretend to have control over you, so please understand. ... Leave Yuan Yu's blood body behind, take your tainted soul filling the heavens out, and get lost. Ho ho, very well for now. However, as we'll need to stay in contact, please leave me a mark, Taoist Seo. Fine, I feel Seo Whale's tainted soul filling the heavens withdraw from my body. Single quote ... How surprising. Surprisingly, Seo Whale did, truly, remove tainted soul filling the heavens from my body. Even after checking my shadow, there is no trace of Seo Whale's tainted soul filling the heavens. Having reached void shattering, I would have immediately sensed tainted soul filling the heavens. Forming an alliance before Hyeon Go seems to be quite effective. Feeling an inexplicable sense of reassurance, I begin communicating with Seo Whale through the heart essence avatar I implanted in his heart essence. So, do you have a plan, Seo Whale? Ho ho. Blood Yin began eroding the bright cold realm somewhat recklessly. They mentioned they will be having a conversation with Baekwoon, but it seems Baekwoon has scratched their reverse scale. He continues explaining, due to this reckless erosion, a gap has formed. Normally, there would have been about 1,000 years grace period left, but due to Sacred Master Baekwoon having stepped down from her rank and overexerting her powers, this situation has occurred. All we need to do is strike at what Blood Yin fears the most within that gap. What do they fear? I can sense Seo Whale chuckling from beyond the darkness. It's clearly a mocking laugh. They fear the dead coming back to life the most. Specifically, the resurrection of Vast Cold. Resurrecting Vast Cold. Are you saying that we're going to do that? Do you think that makes sense? Of course, people like us cannot resurrect Vast Cold. However, we can stir up the energy, enough for Vast Cold's living body to react. What? How? Mad Lord. Quote ... exclamation mark quote. I flinch in surprise, and Seo Whale gives additional explanation. I heard this directly from Blood Yin. The Black Dragon King, Hyeon was modified after being defeated by the Mad Lord, and during that process, the Mad Lord's wonderfully mysterious fortress was confirmed to contain the power of Vast Cold. I am aware that the Mad Lord also has his own agenda. If you activate the wonderfully mysterious fortress according to his purpose, the power of Vast Cold he has cultivated will emerge. That power, if it can be released at the location where Blood Yin's invasion began, we can delay Blood Yin's plan. Delaying the plan, is there no way to completely stop it? Unless Blood Yin suffers a fatal wound, it's impossible. The best we can do is grant the bright cold realm about 50 years of reprieve. Zing. Feeling the heavy weight of responsibility, I fly towards the wonderfully mysterious fortress. I can see the wonderfully mysterious fortress in the distance. Alright, I get it for now. So where exactly did Blood Yin's invasion begin? It's a place Taoist Seo knows well. Heavenly Lotus Mountain. It's the place where the Sacred Master resides. It seems Baekwoon was the first to encounter Blood Yin. Then I just need to bring the wonderfully mysterious fortress to Heavenly Lotus Mountain. Just as I think that. Kung. Quote ... exclamation mark quote. An inexplicable foreboding arises from the plane of soul. Through the plane of soul, all the way beyond. From the far edge of bright, cold realm, I can sense exceedingly ominous and sinister beings descending upon the realm. This is, oh dear, I can feel Seo Whale clicking his tongue. Wong. Space distorts, and colossal projections begin appearing near the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Esteemed one Sui Ryong, Sui Ling shattered bell. Esteemed one Gyuk Hal, Ji Sha controlling strike. Esteemed one Weon, Wei Wen false stability. Esteemed one Yuk Nyung, Yu Ning nurturing mud. Esteemed one Gui Ryak, Wai Lu ruined land. Esteemed one Hil Gi, Gi Ji wild skill. Esteemed one Gu Cheon, Gui Jian jade tablet trampling. TLN. These are the names, not the titles of the esteemed ones. The projections of the 7 esteemed ones of an era Chi Dai Zun J from the Blood Yin realm have descended here to suppress the power of vast cold that Xiao Wei'ol mentioned. Kugugugugugu. A giant covered in red coral. Esteemed one Sui Ryong chants an incomprehensible Blood Yin realm incantation as they approach the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Hey, Xiao Wei'ol, we need to stop them. Do you have any methods? I did already say I will take over, but it seems they don't trust me enough. What to do? Xiao Wei'ol speaks after a moment of pondering. You have no solution either, do you? Ho ho, just wait a little longer. I have a decent PLA. Forget it. Without listening to Xiao Wei'ol, I flauntingly tear the blood body from within myself beneath the sky. Gua. As I rip out my blood body, I let out a howl, instantly drawing the attention of all the esteemed ones toward me. The fact that they're trying to use the esteemed ones to suppress the Mad Lord must mean Blood Yin is still in the midst of corroding bright cold realm and is yet unable to fully exert their power. In that case, there's a simple solution. I'll break through the esteemed ones, take the wonderfully mysterious fortress to Heavenly Lotus Mountain, and have the Mad Lord activate Yin's play within it. Wouldn't that do the trick? Ho ho, do you think that's possible? I respond curtly, yes. Cooing, I become a giant of starlight. Seeing the giant with 21 heads appear before them, the esteemed ones of the Blood Yin realm seem momentarily confused, unable to grasp the situation and staring blankly at me. I calmly walk through their midst. The pressure from the star-shattering stage esteemed one is something I can easily disperse with my void-shattering attainments, so I remain unburdened by it as I walk past them and grab hold of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Cooing. Then, without a care, I lift the wonderfully mysterious fortress with one arm and begin heading towards Heavenly Lotus Mountain, walking right through the middle of the esteemed ones. Only then do the Blood Yin esteemed ones who were slow to react finally begin attacking me. The emerging coral esteemed one Sui Ryong opens their mouth. Exclamation mark. As they shout a lion's roar accompanied by the Blood Yin realm incantation, red coral burst from the ground, trying to trap me. TLN. Lion's roar as in the Buddhist technique in martial arts novels. Esteemed one Gyuk Hal, whose entire body is covered in eyes, stares at me, causing my body to freeze. Esteemed one Weon, whose entire body is made of rattling bones, scatters into pieces and forms a cage around me. Esteemed one Yuk Nyang, a giant made of red clay, lifts the ground beneath my feet. Esteemed one Gui Ryak, in the form of an insect covered in dark red scales, releases hideous shadows from each of their scales and shoots them at me, while esteemed one Hil Gi, resembling a mantis, swings their forearms and sends slashes my way. Quirurururung. The entire area collapses. The aftermath of the Blood Yin realm esteemed one's authorities. Spread in all 4 directions. Kurururung. The place we are standing is a Chaos Realm region in the northwest part of the Bright Cold Realm. It is a region adjacent to the Heaven Tribe territory. The aftermath of the esteemed one's combined assault, which began in this Chaos Realm region, shakes the entire Heaven Tribe territory. As the red light fades, I let out a smile. Assuming I am of a lower realm, it seems you attacked too half-heartedly. Chiok. I dodged all of their recent attacks. Since the attacks were thrown half-heartedly by the esteemed ones in an attempt to crush a cultivator at the integration stage, they were easy to avoid. I chuckle and ask towards the interior of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Is everyone alright? However, no specific response comes, and only Hong Fan, burning on fire, appears above the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Everyone else is currently unconscious. And all the puppets of the wonderfully mysterious fortress have strange coral-like things sprouting from them, preventing them from moving. What? Everyone's unconscious. Kugugugugugu. From behind, I sense the intense momentum of the 7 esteemed ones from the Blood Yin realm. They now recognize me as an equal and are preparing to attack seriously. But I ignore them and continue questioning Hong Fan. Sir Younghun and Lady Ian, as well as the Mad Lord, are holding on. But no one is in good condition. I release my consciousness and quickly scan the inside of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. As Hong Fan said, Kim Yian seems to be conscious but is sitting cross-legged, completely motionless. Kim Young-hoon is gripping his saber and focusing intensely with an appearance of barely holding on, while the Mad Lord is conscious but his condition seems serious. Guog, Kuog, Hyok, Ufuk, Kuok, countless heart heavenly demons are pouring out of the Mad Lord's body. Heart heavenly demons are formed when negative energy temporarily gains a personality. Heart heavenly demons are not living creatures but rather things like characters in a novel or pieces in a chess game. As long as there is a target to grant them a personality, heart heavenly demons can be endlessly generated. And, due to the whispers of the artificial souls in the wonderfully mysterious fortress, the Mad Lord is no different from someone possessing hundreds of millions upon trillions of personalities. In other words, he is practically the ideal state for heart heavenly demons to envelop him. Damn, for the catalyst to activate Yian's Yian to be in this state. I approach the Mad Lord using a heart essence avatar. As my avatar gets closer, the heart heavenly demons that have already emerged flee in terror, but those still being created inside cannot be stopped. I can see the heart heavenly demons endlessly torturing the Mad Lord's soul. This isn't a problem that can be solved by purification through blessings. It might offer a temporary solution, but that's it. Eventually, this state will return. What should I do? As I ponder, it happens. Quote. Co. Yun, is it? Quote. Exclamation mark. Quote. I approach the Mad Lord through my heart essence avatar. Are you conscious? Quote. It's difficult. The Mad Lord, having his soul tortured by countless heart heavenly demons, struggles to his feet. Drip, 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 has some misfortune arisen. Quote. The bright cold realm is being destroyed. Is that so? The Mad Lord sheds tears of blood. It seems, you have a solution. Yes. If you bring the wonderfully mysterious fortress to Heavenly Lotus Mountain and attain Buddhahood, that should do it. The Mad Lord's eyes glint, as if he instantly understands. What I mean, I see. I will do so. Step. The Mad Lord, burdened with innumerable heart heavenly demons, barely manages to grasp the controls of the wonderfully mysterious fortress and speaks. Saying that must mean, my disciple has been completed, right? I look at the Mad Lord. Then I glance down at Kim Yian, sitting cross-legged below. And I answer honestly, I do not know. You do not know. Yes, I am not qualified to judge whether Yian is complete or not. If she gave it her all, she would be complete. If not, she wouldn't be complete. If she is truly sincere, then she absolutely will be complete. Kugugugugu. The wonderfully mysterious fortress begins to move. I stop carrying the wonderfully mysterious fortress, reducing the size of my main body, and climb to the top of the fortress. The Mad Lord, his hands trembling, grips the controls and asks. Even amidst the torture of the heart heavenly demons, what drives him is nothing but his sheer willpower. You, for some reason, seem to believe that child has been completed. Quote. At least. Kugugugu. The realm annihilation ground shrinking formation activates. I look at Kim Yian. Inside her nascent soul, the vast cold heavenly circle is spinning fiercely. The essence of the vast cold heavenly circle is to give meaning to life. The fact that it's spinning means that she is doing everything in her power to find that meaning. There's no way she isn't sincere. After saying this, I move my avatar to the floor where Kim Young-hoon and Kim Yian are. I approach Kim Young-hoon and exchange a glance with him. Focusing his consciousness, Kim Young-hoon barely manages to nod. In an instant, I reach out towards Kim Young-hoon's heart essence. The green padao embedded in his heart essence comes into my hand. I retrieve the heart essence avatar. Pot. The heart essence avatar, holding the green padao, reaches me at the peak of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. The moment before the realm annihilation ground shrinking formation activates. I see the Blood Yin Realm 7 esteemed ones of an era preparing to unleash their power. Led by the fallen Yellow Dragon race member, Yu Qian, I can feel the 7 esteemed ones combining their strengths to obliterate us. With that level of authority, even if we move using the ground shrinking formation, it will likely follow us and destroy the wonderfully mysterious fortress. At least, if they can follow. Boong. I raise the padao. It feels as though Jang Ik is shouting beside me. Collapsing immortals annihilating heavens. Kurururun. The green blade light intercepts the combined strike of the esteemed ones, and the realm annihilation ground shrinking formation activates. Our destination is Heavenly Lotus Great Mountain. Blood Yin's corroded land. Flash. The wonderfully mysterious fortress leaps through space, and I can see the Blood Yin Realm 7 esteemed ones of an era crossing space to follow us. Thud, 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 thud. I recalled Young Chong, Yu Yian, Rio Hua, Dok Young, and Jehu who died in my hands. Jang Ike's padaos I received from them before their deaths. And the padaos given to me by the entire Heart Tribe Supreme Council before Operation Exorcise the Mad Lord. A total of 22 green padaos are embedded around me. Collapsing immortals. Kugugugugu. I pull out one of the padaos and shout. Annihilating heavens. At last, the wonderfully mysterious fortress reaches Heavenly Lotus Great Mountain. I look at the remaining esteemed ones of the Blood Yin realm. The Blood Yin realm 7 esteemed ones of an era have now become the Blood Yin realm 2 esteemed ones of an era. 447. Quaduk. I grip the remaining Padao. Having used up 19 Padao to erase the projections of the 7 esteemed ones of an era, I now only have 3 left. Since Zhang Ike's Padao specializes in destruction itself, it seemed there was nothing better for sweeping away the esteemed ones in large numbers. Cooing. Meanwhile, the wonderfully mysterious fortress has now reached Heavenly Lotus Mountain. Fortunately, at least 5 esteemed ones have been swept away. Since Zhang Ike's Padao attacks through the plane of soul, once it recognizes a target, the attack itself sends a shock to their main body. Even though I only struck their projections, the main bodies will probably need several years just to focus on recovering from the damage. I look toward the remaining esteemed ones. There's esteemed one Sui Ryong, the vanguard of the Blood Yin realm. And the most powerful of the Blood Yin realm, esteemed one Yu Qian. Of all the ones left, of course, it's the most troublesome ones. I gaze at esteemed one Sui Ryong. A red giant with coral sprouting all over its body. Blink. The red giant's body is covered in what seems like countless eyeballs staring at me. Just like the last time I faced esteemed ones, reading intent isn't easy. Back then, I thought it was just the peculiar grotesque nature of the creatures from the Blood Yin realm, but now that I've reached this realm, I can tell. It's not a characteristic of the Blood Yin realm beings, but rather a trait of those at the level of esteemed one or above. Cooing. Esteemed one Sui Ryong suddenly sits down on the spot. Then, sitting cross-legged, they begin to form hand seals. They're using their strength to prepare for the Blood Yin realm's invasion. The Bright Cold realm has documented all the appearances, names, and abilities of the Blood Yin realm's esteemed ones. This is because, unlike the other middle realms whose esteemed ones all went to the Lightning Sacred Sea, only the Blood Yin realm retains its esteemed ones. As a result, anyone of the Grand Cultivator level or higher is provided with information about the Blood Yin realm's esteemed ones. Esteemed one Sui Ryong's abilities involve curses, heart demons, and environmental control. Curses, heart demons, and environmental control aren't particularly scary. What's most terrifying about that esteemed one is their god-invoking Zhongxian ability. Esteemed one Sui Ryong is famous for summoning and commanding the power of the Blood Yin realm itself. Kugugugek. From where Sui Ryong sits, red coral begins to sprout everywhere. Ooh, negative forces gather around him, and countless heart heavenly demons begin to emerge. As they revolve around Sui Ryong, they start to form some kind of ritual formation. If that formation is completed, a portion of the Blood Yin itself will descend upon Sui Ryong, granting them their authority. I just have to stop it in the middle, but the real problem is. I glance toward Yu Qian, who's glaring at me. Though they haven't rushed toward me after seeing I still have Zhang Ike's Padao, if I try to charge at Sui Ryong, they seem ready to attack at any moment. The Yellow Dragon race is already infamous for its strength. And this Yellow Dragon has even mastered sinister devilish arts to become an esteemed one of the Blood Yin realm. They're a monster that can't be compared to something like Yuk Rin. Even though they're only projections, perhaps due to the support from the Blood Yin realm, both of their presences are as intense as their main bodies. Can I do this? I have to face 2 esteemed ones. I sharpen my mind to the extreme. I can do it. No, I must do it. Do. My entire body begins to expand again. I become a giant of starlight with 21 heads. Yu Qian and Sui Ryong, even as they watch this, don't seem overly wary. Their attention is still focused on Zhang Ike's Padao. Do they still not consider me worth paying attention to? I'll make you pay attention. Wriggle, squirm, wriggle. Kua. Eyes begin to sprout all over my body. Just like esteemed one Sui Ryong, who is covered in coral and eyes, flags and eyes begin to sprout from my own body. The eyes bulge, nervously watching me, while the flags emit continuous screams of agony. The extinguishing realm demonic curse banner sprouts from my entire body, spreading a vicious aura around me. Kia, Kaya, Wa. As horrifying ghostly wails erupt, half of the heart heavenly demons that have sprung up around esteemed one Sui Ryong seem to flee from my presence. The other half seem like they want to escape as well, but appear to be bound to Sui Ryong through some kind of sorcery, unable to flee. Sensing the aura of my curses and pain, the gazes of Sui Ryong and Yu Qian change. Although I can't read their intent, I can sense their emotions from their eyes. Shock. They're only shocked, huh? I'll turn that into tension. I draw out the power of my immortal beast true blood. Chi. The mist of the canvas of myriad forms and connections billows faintly around me. The strength of my body expands even further. Now that I've exhausted most of Jiang Ike's Padaos, it's time to face these two esteemed ones purely with what I've accumulated. I will face them with everything I've accumulated through the vast cold heavenly circle, the earth axis, and understanding before breakthrough. I draw forth nether perception, earth perception, star vein eye, and the heaven, earth, and heart vision of the three planes into my vision. Though I cannot unleash the three great ultimates due to a lack of harmony in my cultivation, the puppet circuit covers my entire body. It is no longer the circuit of General CO. Now, the circuit of General CO from the 4-axis stage is insufficient to amplify my strength. The circuit engraved in me is the one I've been digging up for a long time from her. Since I've analyzed her while fighting, modifying my entire body like her in an instant is no issue. As heaven, earth, heart, and puppet wraps around me, an overwhelming force begins to explode from within my body. Only now do I see wariness flash in the eyes of Gu Qian and Sui Ryong. I draw out the colorless glass swords. Each one is an out-of-standard Dharma treasure of the 4-axis stage. TSTSTSTSTSTSTSTTT. 3,000 colorless glass swords begin to combine. 3,000 become 300. The out-of-standard Dharma treasures condense into peak 4-axis Dharma treasures. 300 become 30. The peak 4-axis Dharma treasures become true refining void Dharma treasures at the integration level. 30 become 3. The integration level Dharma treasures merge into Dharma treasures at the grand perfection integration level. The 3 completely fuse into 1. The grand perfection integration level Dharma treasures evolve into something beyond the integration stage. Thus, the All Heavens sword is completed. Wing. I grip the colorless glass sword as my 42 eyes gleam with light. I've rarely relied on Dharma treasures up until now. Up until this point, the colorless glass sword was honestly just tempered glass through Dan fire. So rather than drawing on the power of the colorless glass sword, I always used it to enhance my formless sword or All Heavens sword in battle, which actually diminished my concentration. But now, things are different. Flash. The colorless glass sword, blossoming into the form of All Heavens, begins to shine brightly. It feels as though I can sense the breath of her from the 10th cycle. The colorless glass sword has 3 forms. The first form, color, gives the sword the ability to change its energy. The second form, natural, enables the sword's energy to link with mine. And the final form, All Heavens, allows the sword to convert my emotions directly into power. The All Heavens form of the colorless glass sword becomes enveloped by the All Heavens sword. The colorless glass sword, now a refining void Dharma treasure and completely fused with my heart essence, overlaps with the All Heavens sword. So is this, the colorless glass sword. After countless years, I finally feel the full power of the colorless glass sword in my hands. For the first time since acquiring it, I draw out 100% of the All Heavens sword's power, smiling. It feels as though I'm holding a star in my hand. The sword pressure flowing from my blade does not fall short of the overwhelming presence of sacred master Beck wounds within Heaven's star. Thank you, to the you of the 10th cycle. The pure white light of the All Heavens sword, amplified by the colorless glass sword, shoots from my right hand, forming a pillar that connects heaven and earth. I can see the wariness growing in the eyes of Gu Qian and Sui Ryong. But this isn't the end. From within my domain, I pull out another sword. A pure white sword body. A replica of an immortal treasure, made of salt crystal. Reforming calendar. A part of the South Polar Compass which is a clone and imitation of the immortal treasure Youngsung, the Southern Polar Ritual treasure. This is a tool I've always felt uneasy about, not disappearing even after my return. But this is not the time to feel uneasy or anything else. With the reforming calendar sword in my left hand and the All Heavens sword in my right, I assume a dual sword stance, continuously drawing out the potential of both swords. The power erupting from reforming calendar is no less than the All Heavens sword. And finally, I see tension filling in the eyes of the 2 esteemed ones. Our gazes clash. Immediately, I charge toward the 2 esteemed ones. Quick, activate Yian's play. Mad Lord, and Kim Yian. Kuguguguging. The sky roars. Kwaik, Hyok, Ha. Kim Young-hoon, his entire body drenched in cold sweat, swings his sword at something in the air. Thud, but with that, he collapses on the spot. He has succeeded in cutting down the heart demons that had tormented him. But now he is so drained that he cannot even move. Damn it. Bang. He slams his fist into the ground. His hands tremble. The realm Seo Eun-yun named void-shattering. Kim Yong-hoon has tirelessly strived to reach that realm. But this is a realm that's not easily grasped. Even after reaching the peak of seated detachment, standing oblivion, it remains the same. He has not even a clue how others reach that realm. He knows it isn't something that can be achieved through mere effort. It requires the will to burn oneself to the point of destruction. But, how am I supposed to do that? He must return. However, to rise beyond this stage, he needs to embody emptiness. And he cannot embody emptiness without forgetting everything precious to him. Are you telling me to abandon the reason I practice martial arts? Kim Young-hoon is an ordinary person. He led an ordinary school life, completed ordinary military service, graduated from an average university in the Seoul metropolitan area, and dedicated his life working for an average company. He met Oh Yi-rin, the daughter of one of the company's board of directors, Oh Young-chul, and got married, living an ordinary married life. Sometimes they argued, sometimes they were harmonious, and sometimes they were happy together. They had an ordinary married life. They were ordinary days. He was a man who had lived an ordinary life his whole life. And he was someone who had devoted everything to protect that ordinariness. Kim Young-hoon is the head of his family. How can you tell me to give up? He pounds the floor of the wonderfully mysterious fortress and shouts. With trembling hands, he picks up his blade. I can't give up. Seo Eun-yun suggested embracing connections, but Kim Young-hoon refused. Because it isn't his own enlightenment. He can't accept everyone like Seo Eun-yun, with his wide-open heart. He isn't tenacious like Jeon Myung-hoon, who relentlessly pursues a single goal to the breaking point. He isn't smart like Kang Min-hee, who can solve problems easily. He isn't physically strong like Oh Yun-sok either. He doesn't have impressive specs like Kim Yeon. And he isn't quick-witted like Oh Hae-seo. Because of that, he earnestly hopes to gather with everyone. To return home. As he watches the battle between Seo Eun-yun and the two esteemed ones, one that even the phrase, shaking heaven and earth, is insufficient to describe, he can tell. Seo Eun-yun is being pushed back. The corrupted yellow dragon Gyu Cheon is too strong. If it were a one-on-one fight, Seo Eun-yun might have had the upper hand, but the two-on-one situation is driving Seo Eun-yun into a corner. If it continues like this, Seo Eun-yun will be defeated, and they will all be annihilated. Of course, Kim Young-hoon is confident that he can survive. The record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts, and the surpassing radiant saber. Because they are martial arts so perfect for escaping. But he cannot do that. I cannot give up his family, and his comrades who are like family. He cannot give up a single one because he, too, has come to deeply understand the preciousness of these connections. Clink. He grabs his saber and stands up, tears streaming down his face. Then, he begins to focus his mind on all the martial arts he has accumulated. He cannot give up either side. But he also cannot sit down and cry forever. Because he is an adult. I don't know how Seo Eun-yun did it. In any case, it's impossible to easily understand someone else's realization. So, he'll use his own method. I will reach the next realm with my own way. Pot. The countless connections in Kim Young-hoon's mind begin to disappear. He momentarily focuses all his attention inward to his saber. Everything in this world vanishes except for his martial arts. He embodies the emptiness in his heart and his eyes shine. There's no need for later or tomorrow. Now. Pot. Golden radiance begins to burst forth. Now, right this moment, I must reach it. Beneath the red sky, a golden sun rises, surpassing radiant Genesis form, second style. Golden dawn unfolds. Jin Xiao Wei Kai, TLN. The Xiao Dawn also means to know, to understand. The golden dawn opens. Kim Young-hoon's body ignites. Golden radiance blazes from his entire being. In that instant, though it is only a single moment, he enters emptiness. His plane rises. Is this the world you see? With that final thought, the existence known as Kim Young-hoon disappears from the world. What remains is a single, sharp golden radiance. The flash of light Guang cleaves through the red coral giant that had been channeling the power of blood Yintu. Strike Seo Eun-yun! Exclamation mark. An immense scream envelops the area. Pasasasa. Beyond the back of the coral giant, Kim Young-hoon reappears amidst the scattering golden light. Are you watching, Seo Eun-yun? He thrusts his fist forward, watching Seo Eun-yun, who is now engaged in a one-on-one battle with the yellow dragon. I, too, have taken a step forward. With that thought, Kim Young-hoon faints. Kurururung. I glance down as I confront Yu Qian, who is pressing me down with overwhelming force. I've always believed. It seems he has finally found his own answer, taking one step forward. Though he hasn't fully established his enlightenment and completely entered the realm, he's clearly grasped the concept. Now, the only thing left is my side. I look at Yu Qian, who fights me on equal footing, and smile with all 21 mouths. What will you do now? The one breaking my curses is gone. I smirk as I see the fallen esteemed one Sui Ryong, who had been twisting the curses of my extinguishing realm demonic curse banner and moving it elsewhere. Wriggle. The extinguishing realm demonic curse banner embedded all over my body begins to squirm. At the same time, Kia, the screaming banners use the opening I made by approaching Yu Qian to pierce into their inner star. Bulge. Yu Qian's eyes widen. This will sting a bit. In the next moment, Yu Qian's eyes roll back. Try to endure it. This is the extinguishing realm demonic curse banner that even tore apart Sacred Master Baekwun's mind. I madly begin thrusting the banners embedded in my body into Yu Qian. Blood gushes from Yu Qian's 7 orifices. But as expected of an esteemed one, though their body writhes in pain, they do not succumb to suicide or death from the agony. But they cannot move. That alone is enough. I grin, holding reforming calendar and all heaven's sword in my hand. Vanish, specter of the yellow dragon race. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Ultimate move. Severing mountain. The 22nd move is unleashed through the 2 divine swords, severing Yu Qian's bones and flesh. Though they are merely a projection, it does not matter. I cut through both their soul and flesh through the plane of soul. Once recognized, no matter where their main body is, it will be cut. That is the attack of the heart tribe that has reached void shattering. My sword strike travels through the plane of soul, all the way to where Yu Qian's main body lies. If I can identify the main body, I can cut it no matter what. Shortly after, Yu Qian's projection is completely torn apart and vanishes. I turn all 21 heads 180 degrees and look back at esteemed one Sui Ryong, who took a hit from Kim Young-hoon. A long ill-fated connection. From Su In and Hong Yian, to the many connections formed in the true devil realm. The countless people who died at the hands of esteemed one Sui Ryong. It's time to end this. Remembering them, I grip reforming calendar and the all-heavens sword and leap towards the Sui Ryong. Jeong. With my strike, the entire heavenly lotus mountain trembles. Esteemed one Sui Ryong, who had briefly lost consciousness due to Kim Young-hoon's attack, fully loses consciousness under my blow. Or so I thought. .. I take a step back, trembling at the vicious sense of intimidation emanating from esteemed one Sui Ryong's projection. Do not interfere. Bees. My mind goes blank. In the next moment, I feel a sudden dizziness from Blood Yin's authority that esteemed one Sui Ryong invoked at the last moment. Kurururung. Red lightning crashes from the sky. It's not Jeon Myong-hoon's lightning, it's a sign that Blood Yin's authority is gradually taking control of the world. Kururung, Kurururung. 7 streaks of blood lightning strike the ground. At the same time, dimensional gates begin to open at the points where the blood lightning struck. Ha! Ha! The Blood Yin Realm's 7 esteemed ones of an era. Their main bodies are beginning to be summoned. I swing my sword to shatter the dimensional gates, but it's useless. As if the authority of Blood Yin is protecting them, my sword doesn't even cause a budge. Judging by the weakened aura I feel, it seems they've been shaken by Zhang Ike's Padao in my earlier attack. But even if we fight while accounting for the fatal wounds, the combined strength of those 7. Around 3 esteemed ones. Perhaps there's considerable resistance crossing the dimensional gates because they are esteemed ones, as the summoning process is slow. However, that's not the problem right now. The reason my head felt dizzy just moments ago. Blood Yin's split soul launched a mental attack. I quickly returned to the wonderfully mysterious fortress to check on the condition of my comrades. All of them are convulsing, and only Kim Yian, Seo Ran, and Hong Fan remain unharmed. The rest are bleeding from their 7 orifices, dying with their brains turned to mush from the mental attack. Even Seo Ran, who appears unharmed, is merely in a peaceful slumber, and Kim Yian is sitting in meditation, still doing something. I connect to Kim Yian through the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon and ask, Kim Yian, can you activate Yian's play? Fortunately, a positive response comes from Kim Yian's side, indicating that it seems possible. However, the problem is with the Mad Lord. I rise to the upper level of the wonderfully mysterious fortress where the Mad Lord resides. The Mad Lord is dying there with his brain completely mushed. For those at our level, regenerating a brain isn't difficult, but the mental attack had directly struck his soul, making regeneration difficult. With a stunned expression, I infuse blessings into the Mad Lord's body and shout. Damn it, no, Yian's play must be unfolded by two puppet masters with powerful consciousnesses. One from outside, and one from inside. And the method to activate the Yian's play from the inside is known only to the Mad Lord. It's when I'm racking my brain to find a solution. Step, quote. I flinch in surprise at the shadow of a person that appears before me. It's Seo Wei-ol. He laughs as if he can't believe the situation. Quote. To think I'd be treating the Mad Lord in my lifetime. Well, it can't be helped since time is pressing. Blink. As he reaches out towards the Mad Lord, an eyeball sprouts from his hand. Tainted soul filling the heavens. What Blood Yin just used is an application of purple soul filling the heavens. As you already know, purple soul filling the heavens is a secret art of inheritance. Blood Yin is currently trying to seize this world by giving themselves as an inheritance to the bright cold realm. In the process, they infused a part of their consciousness into you all, who are a part of this world. His explanation continues. In short, those who were hit by Blood Yin's purple soul filling the heavens and whose brains are now mushed will soon turn into Blood Yin themselves. Quote. Quote. I look down at the Mad Lord. But then I glance at Seo Wei-ol and speak. Judging by the look on your face, you must have a solution. He is still smiling as usual. Didn't Taoist Seo also obtain purple soul filling the heavens in the ancient force realm? And it seems you've fully made it your own. With my tainted soul filling the heavens and your purple soul filling the heavens, we will prevent the Mad Lord's mind from being eroded by Blood Yin. After awakening his mind through a powerful consciousness, we'll restore his memories through my wife's authority. You remember what we did before, correct? Before. Seo Wei-ol's words likely refer to the time when he, Kim Yian, and Oh Hai Seo joined forces to peer into the Mad Lord's memories in order to deal with Kong Min-hee. At that time, we temporarily erased his memories, but this time, we'll revive them. For that, we need the power of Taoist Seo, a fifth-stage manifestation heart tribe. My wife's authority will comb through the Mad Lord's history, and then the Mad Lord's disciple will stimulate his consciousness through the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon to bring his memories back to life. I will block Blood Yin's erosion with tainted soul filling the heavens, so Taoist should use your sub-heart sword to engrave the Mad Lord's memories back into his soul. Good. I'll cooperate. Straightforward, I like it. Then, snap. Seo Wei-ol snaps his fingers, and a ritual formation drawn in blood appears around the Mad Lord. Seo Wei-ol and I stand, facing each other. We each use our tainted soul filling the heavens and flower soul filling the heavens to block the power of Blood Yin that is eroding the Mad Lord's mind. At the same time, I send the power of flower soul filling the heavens to my comrades, temporarily blocking Blood Yin's purple soul filling the heavens. Snap. Seo Wei-ol snaps his fingers again, and from his shadow, a projection of Oh Hai Seo emerges. She steps between Seo Wei-ol and me with a gloomy gaze. I glance at Oh Hai Seo briefly, then signal to Kim Yian. TSTSTSTSTSTSTSTSTT. Kim Yian's consciousness clone appears opposite of Oh Hai Seo. The four of us stand in the four directions surrounding the Mad Lord, each forming hand seals. Well then, let's begin. I take out the sub-heart sword, Kim Yian brings forth the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon, and Oh Hai Seo draws on her authority. Thus, we connect with the Mad Lord's soul once again. A taiji emerges between Oh Hai Seo's hands and begins to reverse its rotation. Flap, 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 flap. The sound of turning pages echoes, and a bright white light fills my vision. As Kim Yian's wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon stimulates the Mad Lord's consciousness, his first memory appears before me and Kim Yian. His first memory. It's the memory of his birth. The past of Mad Lord Guai Jun, Zhou Yian, Zhao Yuan unfolds before Kim Yian and I. 448. Zhou Yian's life began in one of the territories of the Zhou clan, situated between Biokra and the northern Great Grasslands. He was not born into the main family but rather a branch of the Zhou clan. His father, who hadn't even reached the Qi gathering stage, had spent a night with a slave woman captured from the east, and Zhou Yian was the result of that union. However, something had gone wrong with the bloodline from one side or the other. Zhou Yian was born with a hunched back. Zhou Yian's father disliked him. It seemed that he couldn't accept that such a deformed child was his own. Before Zhou Yiyan had even been weaned, his father sold off his mother. Afterward, his father intended to abandon Zhou Yiyan at some common mortal household, but as Zhou Yiyan was discovered to possess a spiritual root, his father had no choice but to raise him. Zhou Yiyan grew up under his father's abuse. Although Zhou Yiyan was born with a three-element spiritual root, which technically placed him in the true spiritual root category, the Zhou clan's prestige was at its peak at that time, and the number of true spiritual root holders in the clan was so abundant that they were overflowing. Thus, Zhou Yiyan received no special treatment, and it was a miracle he survived the abuse and continued to grow. However, when Zhou Yiyan turned 10 years old, things changed. He escaped from his father's grasp. One day, he dreamed of a giant bird trampling him, and on that very day, he awakened his extraordinary pattern law talent. Anyone who awakened an extraordinary pattern law talent, regardless of the spiritual root they possessed, had to be sent to the main family to be supervised. Thanks to this, Zhou Yiyan was taken away from his abusive father and sent to the main house. Zhou Yiyan had a thought that his life would get at least a bit better. But he was mistaken. His life only became more miserable. A 7-colored extraordinary pattern law talent. The worst among all those who awakened the so-called extraordinary pattern law talent. Those who had not even a speck of talent but had hideous patterns appear on their faces when becoming excited, making them look grotesque. These individuals were nothing more than trash, unable to do anything other than serve as breeding stock for the Zhou clan. That is what the 7 pattern law talent holders were. On top of that, Zhou Yiyan was born with a hunched back. Naturally, he became a target for bullying by his peers. Getting beaten up in some corner of the Zhou clan was the norm, and there was even a time when he was stripped naked and buried with only his face sticking out of the ground. Whenever there was something delicious, it was either taken from him or he was forced to offer it up, and even the elders of the clan would frown in displeasure whenever they saw Zhou Yiyan. Some of the more violent members of the clan would frequently kick him just because they were in a bad mood. Zhou Yiyan spent half his childhood living as the Zhou clan's training dummy. Getting beaten and ridiculed was part of his daily life. Even so, Zhou Yiyan endured it. After all, the Zhou clan was his family. He held onto a simple dream of one day becoming an adult and finding his mother, who had been sold off, and living together with her. Holding on to this simple dream, Zhou Yiyan endured. And when Zhou Yiyan finally became an adult, he heard shocking news. Quote, "What? They said your father died, so go handle the funeral. Do you understand?" At the sudden news of his father's death, Zhou Yiyan hastily returned to his hometown. There, he was able to confirm with his own eyes that his father had indeed passed. His father had reportedly died of mercury poisoning. Apparently, during the refining of a magic artifact by a direct descendant of the Zhou clan in one of the territories, mercury was used in the refining process, and Zhou Yiyan's father was assigned to handle it. This was because his father was the lowest ranked in cultivation. As Zhou Yiyan conducted the funeral of his father who died of mercury poisoning, his heart became hollow. Single quote. My family. Though his father gave him nothing but bad memories, he had still been the only connection Zhou Yiyan had to the Zhou clan. Feeling an inexplicable void, Zhou Yiyan attempted to organize his father's belongings. But an absurd situation arose. Your father's belongings? We burned them. Quote. Starting at the direct descendant who had caused his father's death, Zhou Yiyan could only stare with his mouth open, unsure of what to say. Sorry, I was testing a newly crafted magic artifact, you see. It was really a mistake. Sorry, don't feel too bad. It really wasn't my intention. Instead, here, 10 building emptiness pills. Even excluding drug resistance, this can extend your lifespan by about 30 years, so this should be a fair compensation. TLN. This was translated as blessing pills before. Quote. Thank you. Zhou Yiyan didn't care much for his father's belongings. However, his father's ledger contained information on where he had sold Zhou Yiyan's mother, the only clue he had to find her. Zhou Yiyan had no choice but to hire some mortals to search for his mother, but they failed to find her. With no other options, he focused solely on his cultivation. Though the worst among the extraordinary pattern law talent, as a cultivator, he wasn't entirely bad. Zhou Yiyan swiftly reached great completion in the qi refining stage and rose to the qi building stage within 20 years. Of course, reaching the qi building stage didn't mean much. In smaller clans, reaching the qi building stage would warrant a position as an elder, but his clan was the Zhou clan. As the continent's #1 clan, the Zhou clan had so many cultivators at the qi building stage that one could trip over them on the ground. Zhou Yian had to be content with the slight elevation in status within the clan. After reaching the Qi building stage, Zhou Yian temporarily left the clan. He claimed to wander the martial world to solidify his cultivation, but in truth, it was to properly search for his mother. And after about 5 years of wandering, Zhou Yian finally succeeded in finding traces of his mother. It was said that his mother had been sold off in a dispute involving a mortal martial clan, where she lived out the rest of her days. Zhou Yian secretly entered the servants' graveyard of the martial clan and offered wine and a bow. Where should I go now? For no reason, Zhou Yian felt himself becoming empty. Of course, he would eventually have to return to the Zhou clan. The Zhou clan allowed those with the extraordinary pattern lot talent a period of 49 years to wander. If they didn't return within that time, the clan's soul-chasing squad would come after them to capture and bring them back. However, Zhou Yian felt as if his sense of belonging had disappeared. He felt that no matter where he went, he wouldn't feel a sense of attachment. It was as if he became a piece of duckweed, floating about on the vast ocean called the world. It was when he was staring emptily at the sky. Who are you? I've never seen you before. For what reason did you enter the burial grounds of our Kangjuwal clan? A mortal scolded Zhou Yian. Zhou Yian looked at him, chuckled, and said, "There's nothing to know. Get lost, mortal. I'm not in a good mood right now. You, how dare you enter the grounds of the main house and speak such insolence? It seems you are a family member of one of the servants here, but even family members need to inform the steward before entering this place. I've heard nothing from the steward, so how dare you disregard protocol and barge in here?" Pebong. Zhou Yian, irritated by the man's noisy chatter, casted a basic spell toward the man's head to threaten him. "Shut up. I told you I'm not in a good mood, you mortal. A small family like this, which doesn't even know of the existence of cultivators, can be destroyed right now without a second thought. This is your last warning. Get lost." Zhou Yian didn't want to create unnecessary conflict, so he merely threatened the man. But that was the problem. Clink. Instead of backing down, the man's eyes gleamed with a burning desire to fight as he gripped his 2 short spears in both hands. "Oh, so you're a distinguished guest. This wall has failed to recognize the noble. I apologize. However, there are rules in a clan. If you wished to visit the burial grounds of the main house, you should have informed the steward first." This bastard, to the end. Zhou Yian, floating several spells around him, glared at the man. And then, for a brief moment, Zhou Yian flinched in surprise. You have a spiritual root. The consciousness that flowed around the man suddenly condensed into a spherical form, similar to that of cultivators. The man smirked and said, "I don't know what that is, but I do know one thing. This is the realm called 5 energies converging to the origin." "Ha, a mortal's confidence, good. Let's give it a go. If you bore me, you'll pay the price for disturbing my mood." "Ha, you're quite arrogant. Just a few months ago, this body realized the essence of the spear. I am stronger than even the number 1 spear under the heavens." That day, Zhou Yian, at the early Qi building stage, clashed with Walbai Yubai, a reclusive martial master of Biokra's martial world. Who? Zhou Yian, looking at his slowly healing wounds, glanced over at Walbai. "I almost died. If Walbai hadn't fainted while standing, and had instead thrust his spear into Zhou Yian's head, what would have happened? He would have surely died. A Qi building cultivator like him, dying to a mere mortal." After waiting for all his wounds to heal, Zhou Yian approached Walbai, pried open his mouth, and crushed a medicinal pill for external wounds, placing the powder inside his mouth. Not long after, Walbai regained consciousness. Ha, I lost. Truly, I never expected there to be someone this strong. Zhou Yian clicked his tongue as he looked at Walbai. "In my clan, I'm an existence lower than a bug. Yet, you struggled against someone like me, and what? Stronger than the number 1 spear under the heavens. Ridiculous fool. Ha, Big Bro's clan must be truly terrifying. For there to be so many stronger than Big Bro. Do you not know anything about the cultivation world? And why am I your Big Bro? Isn't it normal for men to address each other as brothers after exchanging blows?" Zhou Yian clicked his tongue again as he looked at Walbai. Strangely though, it didn't feel as bad and upsetting as when he was beaten by his own clan's brothers. Instead, a rather refreshing feeling. Before he knew it, Zhou Yian found himself unconsciously laughing along with Walbai. "How about becoming my disciple?" Zhou Yian, having never formed a relationship with anyone, proposed the best kind of human relationship he knew to Walbai. But Walbai shook his head. I'm sorry big bro, but I already have a master. Quote. But even if I can't become big bro's disciple, I can become your friend. Friend. Zhou Yian was taken aback by the unfamiliar word. Having never had a single friend since childhood, the word, friend, felt all too strange. But whether Zhou Yian found it strange or not, Walbai simply pushed forward. That's right, a friend. From today on, Big Bro and I are friends and brothers. Ha ha ha, wait, hold on. And so, Walbai became Zhou Yian's first friend. 5 years passed. Zhou Yian spent the past 5 years working as a blacksmith for Walbai's family. He made weapons for his best friend, Walbai, and also came to learn about the martial world. The martial arts created by mortals to survive in their own way. A world where those who practiced these martial arts competed to determine supremacy, different from the world of cultivators. Although it was a much smaller world compared to the world of cultivation, Zhou Yian found beauty in that small world. He came to understand the beauty of martial arts. The disciplined movements, the countless meanings of martial arts exchanged beyond them. The extreme where those martial arts meanings manifest is the interaction of intent at the pinnacle and 3 flowers gather at the summit, and beyond that, 5 energies converging to the origin. All kinds of thrilling martial art realms. For the first time in his life, Zhou Yian wanted to use all of his talent to create the best weapon for his friend who lived in this world of martial arts. Thus, he lived as a blacksmith at the Wall clan, forging thousands and tens of thousands of weapons. Walbai was always satisfied wielding the weapons he made. Since Walbai could handle all sorts of weapons, not just the short spears, Zhou Yian also found enjoyment in crafting various weapons. Whenever Zhou Yian made a weapon, Walbai would wield it, demonstrating martial arts that suited the weapon and explaining the meaning behind those martial arts. This sacred swallow folding crane martial move was created with the feeling of. This dignified joint restraining technique is. The 3 iron cannon martial art requires a strong rebounding force. And that rebounding force comes from. They were such enjoyable moments. However, those enjoyable moments did not last long. What? Wandering the martial world? Just as Zhou Yian had left his home to wander, it seemed that something similar existed in the martial world as well. Yes, Hung Nim, now that I've completed my martial arts, don't I need a disciple? As I need to find someone to inherit my progress, please understand. I see. Zhou Yian nodded. Since I was preparing to create a cultivation method based on the intent you taught me, it's actually good timing. Go ahead. I originally wanted to ask you to come with me. Heh, that sounds good too, but parting for a while will also be good. Zhou Yian smiled as he spoke. He was excited at the thought of creating a cultivation method using intent to surprise Walbai. I'll head to my clan's territory for a while to make a cultivation method and prepare a gift for you, so you go build your reputation and come back. Haha, understood. If Hung Nim says so, then, I'll also prepare a gift for Hung Nim and meet you later. Until then, good. And so, the two parted ways. Zhou Yian went to a nearby territory of his clan, referencing the clan's resources to create a cultivation method, and began crafting a weapon for Walbai. It was a pair of short spears. For Walbai, through Walbai, to be unfolded by Walbai. Short spears made solely for his martial arts. To create the perfect weapons, Zhou Yian secluded himself and worked on them for several years. 10 years passed. Zhou Yian finally completed the pair of short spears that best suited Walbai's martial art, the paired wing spear technique, and set out to gift them to him. However, Zhou Yian had misjudged one thing. It was that the sense of time for cultivators and mortals are entirely different. For Zhou Yian, a cultivator in the Qi building stage, 10 years was merely, just, a short time, but in the martial world, 10 years was enough time for even mountains and rivers to change. Having been abused, bullied, and ostracized since childhood, Zhou Yian had always lived keeping the doors to his heart closed. Aside from Walbai, there was virtually no one Zhou Yian had properly opened up to. Thus, he completely failed to perceive that the sense of time for cultivators is completely different from that of mortals. Other clan members at least interacted with others enough to be aware of the sense of time for mortals, but not Zhou Yian. As he stared at the completely ruined Wall clan, he dropped the spears he had been carrying in his embrace. This, what? It was a tragedy born from the difference in the sense of time between cultivators and mortals. Zhou Yian quickly inquired about the cause of the Wall clan's downfall. He soon learned the truth. The Wall clan had rapidly risen to prominence centered around Wall Bai, the #1 spear under the heavens, but at the same time, they attracted the jealousy of countless others. Furthermore, the Wall clan was filled with the highest-grade weapons made by Zhou Yiyan. Coveting those weapons, the larger martial factions banded together and sought help from the cultivator clans. It was the Zhou clan that had directly intervened, executing Wall Bai, and the Wall clan was destroyed by the large martial sects. Zhou Yiyan clutched his chest and wept bitterly. Why, even though you've never given me anything, why did you take my friend away from me? Why, he wailed, looking at the heavens. At the same time, these words were directed at the Zhou clan. For several months, Zhou Yiyan lived like a recluse. Then, after several more months, he regained his composure. I must take revenge. He couldn't take revenge on the Zhou clan. Having 5 heavenly being, 29 nascent soul, and 160 core formation cultivators under its banner was the great faction known as the Zhou clan. On top of that, even though he felt no affection for it, the Zhou clan was still his own. Thus, Zhou Yiyan decided to target the martial sects that had requested the Zhou clan to annihilate the Wall clan. It might be difficult if they had someone at 5 energies converging to the origin, but since the martial sects only had 1 or 2 peak masters at 3 flowers gather at the summit, he was not scared at all. Revenge was swiftly executed. Zhou Yiyan petitioned the Zhou clan for the sect annihilation of 3 large sects. The reason he gave was that they had insulted him. And the Zhou family granted Zhou Yiyan, a Qi building stage cultivator, permission for the sect annihilation of the 3 large martial sects. To them, martial sects were nothing more than livestock. Even though Zhou Yiyan was considered useless within the Zhou clan, he was still a human in their eyes. For livestock to insult a human, regardless of their size or scale, annihilation was the only proper response. Zhou Yiyan destroyed 2 of the sects, leaving a 10-day gap between each, and 10 days later, he went to the last sect. Warururururu. The signboard of the large martial sect, Qi Spear Pavilion, was engulfed in flames. The entire pavilion was ablaze. All the servants had fled, but those who practiced martial arts, especially those who wielded the weapons stolen from the Wall clan, none of them escaped alive. Standing at the topmost floor of the Qi Spear Pavilion, he faced the pavilion master who stayed behind to wait for him. The pavilion master looked at Zhou Yiyan with empty eyes and spoke. What wrong did our Qi Spear Pavilion commit, elder cultivator? We offered our tributes on time. So why are you exterminating us? Zhou Yiyan did not respond. Because this was simply an act of violence. A senseless act of violence, where the stronger oppressed the weaker for no reason. It was nothing more than violence to repay old grievances, a meaningless act. Thus, Zhou Yiyan remained silent and prepared his spell. The pavilion master raised his spear, ready to confront Zhou Yiyan. Zhou Yiyan's spell flew toward him. And, it was at that moment. Quagwagwang. Someone appeared between the 2 of them. Someone severed Zhou Yiyan's spell and, as if dancing, took a stance. The moment Zhou Yiyan saw the someone's movements, he had no choice but to freeze. A woman, masked, wielding 2 short spears. Her stance was shockingly similar to his friend Wall Bai's. After glancing between Zhou Yiyan and the pavilion master, she asked, "Who is the pavilion master?" The pavilion master, his face lighting up with hope, shouted, "Reinforcements. It's me. I am the master of Qi Spear Pavi." Quick. Before he could even finish, the pavilion master's heart was pierced by her spear gang. And died. She spat out her words as if chewing on them. "This is master's revenge. You're Wall Bai's disciple." The pavilion master couldn't even finish his sentence before dying. It was a futile death. She laughed lightly, as if relieved, on the top floor of the burning pavilion. Revenge is completed, master. Then, Zhou Yiyan spoke as he looked at her. "You're Wall Bai's disciple." Zhou Yiyan's hand trembled. His friend who had died such an absurd death. His trace now stood before him. He, at that instant, on that day, recalled the moment he first met Wall Bai and prepared his spell. Zhou Yiyan's eyes reddened. "Fight me." "Who are you, and why should I? If you win." Dozens of spells floated around Zhou Yiyan. Zhou Yiyan retrieved 2 short spears from his storage artifact and showed them to her. "I will give you your master's spears." She quietly listened to Zhou Yiyan's words before silently assuming a stance. Even through her mask, Zhou Yiyan could feel her fighting will. The fighting will to claim her master's belongings, no matter what. The next moment, the two of them collided on the top floor of the burning pavilion. That was the first meeting of Zhou Yian's and her. 449. Zhou Yian opened his eyes wide. Quang. In an instant, her spear thrust shattered his defensive spell. Impressive. With a wide grin, he confronted her. Both wielded spherical consciousness domains, but their methods of usage were completely different. She used her consciousness domain to read the flow of air, spiritual energy, and the flow of spells to destroy the spells. With graceful movements, launched an attack toward Zhou Yian. Though Zhou Yian casted countless spells, few managed to reach her. She's reading me. He could feel it. She was reading the hues of his intent and evading all of his attacks. Should I try using that cultivation method I've been developing? Zhou Yian pondered for a moment. But soon, he gave up. It's an incomplete method. It's still far from being finished. I can't use something so crude yet. Instead, he chose a more straightforward approach, the kind that cultivators use to defeat martial artists. Overwhelming strength, crushing her techniques with sheer overwhelming power. Quang. One side of the pavilion wall exploded. At the same time, Zhou Yian's spell directly struck her body, and she was flung far into the distance. I got a bit too excited. I should save her, if she falls from that height. But Zhou Yian's eyes widened. Pong. She stepped onto the air and flew upward. What? Not even his friend, Wal Bai, could do such a thing. Well, to be precise, he had heard that it was something Wal Bai could do with enough time. But Wal Bai had simply said that he didn't want to waste time learning trivial tricks like stepping on the air. However, just by looking, it was clear that she was younger than Wal Bai. Vitality that looked like she just entered her 20s. Putting aside the fact that she had already reached the same realm as Wal Bai at such a young age, she had even mastered stepping on the air that even Wal Bai needed time to learn. As Zhou Yian realized her talent was beyond imagination, he let out a bright laugh. Ha ha, ahahaha, this is great, Wal Bai. Tot. He kicked off the pavilion and jumped onto his flying artifact, launching more spells toward her. With two short spears enveloped in spear gang, she deflected and diverted his spells as she gradually closed the distance between them. You've got yourself a fine disciple. Is this all you've got? Quang. Zhou Yian roared as he unleashed a spell of flame dragons toward her. Wal Bai wasn't done with just this. That guy coated the air with Gangqi and sent it flying. Are you telling me that his disciple only learned trivial tricks like stepping on the air? Did you really learn anything properly? Ku, show me more. Show me more of what Wal Bai taught you. He even pulled out a magic artifact from within his robes. The horse tail whisk magic artifact radiated intense heat as it surged toward her. Quang. She cloaked her entire body in protective Gangqi and swung her dual spears. But it wasn't easy. Zhou Yian remembered the spear techniques Wal Bai had once displayed and dodged her attacks, pressing her even further. Before long, while fighting in mid-air, the two of them had moved from the upper floor of Chi's spear pavilion where they first clashed to an isolated forest. Wood Mew. As Zhou Yian formed hand seals, the trees rapidly grew and rushed toward her like tentacles. She wielded her spear, slicing through the branches in the air as if dancing. She's gradually losing energy. Zhou Yian smiled as he watched her. She wasn't on the same level as Wal Bai in his prime, but she was quite strong. However, at that age and with that level of skill, given time, she might very well surpass Wal Bai. Zhou Yian was truly delighted. His friend remained alive within her. In the form of martial arts. Gradually, the distance between Zhou Yian and her closed. At first, it was she who had approached Zhou Yian to wound him, but now it was Zhou Yian approaching her. Just a little more, just a little closer. Wal Bai, so he could feel the traces of his first friend. Quang. Zhou Yian swung his whisk, sending a bird of fire at her before moving in close. He didn't think it was dangerous. Different from when he met Wal Bai at the early Qi building stage, Zhou Yian had grown significantly. He had now reached full completion of the early Qi building stage, forming all 7 stars of horn, neck, root, room, heart, tail, and winnowing basket. With his body completely covered in pure spiritual force, he had no fear of being injured by something like Gangqi. He stepped into the range of her spear to feel Wal Bai's spear technique more deeply. Just as Zhou Yian entered her proximity. Chills. He saw her fighting well beyond the mask and felt shivers down his back. Wait, this is... The spear was changing. Wal Bai's paired wing spear was beginning to evolve. No, he was so shocked to the point of his eyes bulging out. Pushed to her limits, she was evolving the paired wing spear. The technique was changing. No, it was evolving. Kwang. Her spear gang struck Zhou Yian's protective pure spiritual force. Zhou Yian was shocked to the point his heart almost leapt out, but at the same time, he smiled with satisfaction. A disciple with talent surpassing Walbai. Though Walbai was no longer in this world, Zhou Yian felt he understood what Walbai must have felt in his final moments. To this child, he entrusted everything and then died. With talent like this, Walbai surely departed without any lingering regrets. Freely and without burden, because this disciple clearly had the skills to repay all of his debts. Magnificent! Zhou Yian shouted. From behind her mask, he could feel her labored breathing. As expected, it seemed she was nearly drained of her internal energy. Zhou Yian laughed heartily as he spoke. You've not only inherited everything from Walbai magnificently, but even evolved beyond it. You are. Just then. Chills. Wait, what is this fighting will? It's not over yet. She adjusted her spear stance. Jolt. For a moment, Zhou Yian felt her consciousness domain compress. Pot. Quote. Huh. He looked down in a daze at his chest. A hole the thickness of a strand of hair had pierced through Zhou Yian's chest. Kahayak. Zhou Yian coughed up blood. This. Wait. He realized what she had done. A martial artist's gangqi couldn't normally pierce a cultivator's protective gangqi. So, she compressed the gangqi into a thread, maximizing its power in a split second to pierce Zhou Yian's heart. My pulmonary artery is torn. His heart wasn't shattered, but Zhou Yian could feel that his pulmonary artery had been ripped apart. Kahayak. He lost focus and fell from his flying magic artifact. And, absurdly enough, she too had exhausted all her strength and was falling. This reckless. Both of us are in midair, what are we supposed to do? Forcing himself to stay conscious, Zhou Yian grabbed a handful of elixirs from his storage artifact and swallowed them. He then applied an emergency healing spell and a talisman to his chest. Afterward, he grabbed her as she fell, pulling her into his arms, and cast a floating spell. Cough. Perhaps due to the injury she inflicted on him, the spell faltered, and Zhou Yian's floating spell was only half completed. Dying is. Images of his life flashed through Zhou Yian's mind. Kwang. He crashed into an old tree growing at the edge of the forest, near a small path. Crash. Branches snapped, and the leaves, already withering and dying, fluttered to the ground. But by some stroke of fortune, both Zhou Yian and the woman survived. Ha! Zhou Yian, drenched in cold sweat, glanced around. They were on top of a tree. Crack. And just as he realized this, the branch they were on broke, and the two of them fell to the ground once more. Kuhuk. Uck. Zhou Yian coughed up more blood, trembling as he shakily grabbed another 1 or 2 pills, swallowing them before barely managing to sit up and circulate his energy. Qi. Even if he was a qi-building cultivator, the heart is a dangerous area. Until he reached the core formation stage, he was still bound by the fragility of human life. I almost died. If her spear had been aimed just a little closer to the center of his heart, Zhou Yian would surely have been the one to die. He had narrowly escaped death. Looking at the old tree with its pale pink flowers, Zhou Yian offered his thanks. Thank you. He leaned against the trunk and caught his breath. Then, he began to laugh heartily. Ha! Ha ha ha! Ah ha ha ha! Zhou Yian cried. He cried his heart out. My friend, are you watching? The disciple who inherited your will has already surpassed you. The gift I was going to give you, you wouldn't mind if I gave it to your disciple, right? He retrieved the short spear he intended to give to Walbai from his storage artifact and placed it next to the still unconscious her. Afterward, he checked her pulse. She was still alive. Zhou Yian looked at her face. Somewhere along the fall, her mask must have flown off, as it was nowhere to be seen. Her face was covered in pockmarks, perhaps from an illness in her childhood. And above one of her eyes was a large burn scar. Soon, she opened her eyes. She met Zhou Yian's eyes, then hurriedly covered her face, looking around frantically until she found her mask. Only after hastily putting on the mask to cover her face did she face Zhou Yian again. I've treated your internal injuries for now. I also treated your other wounds using my healing talisman, so your body should be fine. However, you've completely depleted your internal energy, so you'll feel weak. And also, Zhou Yian pointed to the short spear he had placed beside where she had been lying. You won. That weapon is now yours. At those words, she looked between the spear and Zhou Yian for a moment before asking. Excuse me, but may I ask your name? Were you perhaps an acquaintance of my master? Zhou Yian smiled softly and said. Before I tell you my name, show me the paired wings spear with that spear. I'll tell you after I see it. Quote. Understood. She nodded and took Zhou Yian's spear, taking her stance. Then, like a graceful dance, the paired wing spear unfolded from her hands. Zhou Yian watched. It was similar to Wal Bai's spear, yet different. A spear more refined, but with Wal Bai's will Yi still intact. He felt a momentary illusion, as if he had returned to the past when Wal Bai had demonstrated martial arts in front of him, explaining the moves with the weapons Zhou Yian had crafted for him. Drip, drip, Zhou Yian's eyes welled up again as he laughed. It's excellent. Wal Bai would surely be delighted, even in the afterlife. Thank you, senior. My name is Zhou Yian, Zhao Yuan. What is yours? Ah, I've heard of you. She bowed to Zhou Yian and said, I am Wal Han Yu Sha'an, the adopted daughter and disciple of the number one spear under the heavens, Wal Bai. It is my honor to greet my master's companion for the first tea. Wal Han, while offering her greeting, collapsed again mid-bow. Zhou Yian chuckled. My apologies. You must have overexerted yourself showing me the spear while already exhausted. Quote. Yes, it seems I've embarrassed myself. No, it's my fault for making such a request. After finishing his words, Zhou Yian leaned back against the tree trunk and looked up at the tree that took them in. Quote. Do you know what kind of tree this is? Judging by the flowers, it seems to be a quince tree. It's the season when quince flowers should be in full bloom, but seeing how few have blossomed, it must be an old tree. This tree saved us. Zhou Yian stared up at the tree for a moment before speaking to Han again. Where is Wal Bai's body? Quote. Master asked to be cremated and for his ashes to be scattered where his vengeance is completed. She took out a small wooden box from her chest. Zhou Yian gestured toward the quince tree. Then let's scatter them here. Even if we scatter them where Qi Spear Pavilion stood, it will just be trampled on again by the martial sects that come later. Instead, wouldn't it be better to scatter them at the tree that saved our lives after we avenged him? If it's my request, that friend would surely agree. That sounds good. Han brought the box of ashes, and together, she and Zhou Yian scattered them beneath the quince tree. On a day in that spring, Wal Han and Zhou Yian exchanged their names for the first time beneath the quince tree. 450. What will you do now? Night had fallen. Zhou Yian lit a fire in the cave and asked her. In response to Zhou Yian's question, Han seemed to ponder for a moment before replying. My goal was to avenge my master. My master told me to do whatever I wanted once my revenge was over, but my heart feels complicated. What's there to feel complicated about? Just do what you want. I want to follow my master's path. But at the same time, I don't want to follow it. What do you mean by that? At Zhou Yian's question, Wal Han touched her mask. I was born with a disability. Though now, after undergoing a complete transformation, I've separated my fingers. I was born with my ring and pinky fingers on my right hand fused together. On top of that, after suffering from a plague, I lost my parents and was left scarred with pockmarks all over my face. Since I was young, everyone called me a beggar woman and spat on me, keeping their distance. Twitch. Zhou Yian unintentionally flinched at her story. Because of my ugly appearance, everyone despised me, and just looking at someone would make them claim I'd pass on curses and plagues, so they wouldn't even let me look at them properly. I was even threatened that they'd sew my eyes shut. But when I was 12, my master came to our village, and he cleared out the heretical sects that were extorting the villagers and trafficking drugs. Crackle. Zhou Yian listened quietly as she spoke. Everyone would scream in disgust and yell if they met my gaze. But my master, instead, took me as a disciple simply because I kept staring at the tip of his spear. He didn't discriminate against me for my appearance or my disability and treated me the same as the other disciples he met during his heroic deeds. Han continued to fiddle with her mask. He was a righteous man. But that righteousness made him the target of jealousy from other sects. Eventually, those who called themselves cultivators, accepting bribes from the sects, began to burn my master's clan to the ground. Shudder. Her fingertips trembled. The clan was set on fire, and my master, after being ambushed by the cultivators, had his dantian destroyed, becoming a cripple. The cultivators mocked him and threw master's crippled body into the midst of the very people who envied him before disappearing. Quote. Crunch. Zhou Yian clenched his teeth. As a cultivator himself, he knew all too well which cultivator faction had assaulted Wal clan. The Zhou clan. It was his very own clan that had ruthlessly trampled on his friend's life. I rushed in and swept aside the other martial artists, carrying my master on my back while escaping. It was in that process that I got scars on my face and why I now wear a mask, but I have no regrets. I saved my master. After that, I nursed him as he hovered between life and death, and whenever he regained consciousness, he taught me martial arts. I swore vengeance. I vowed to eliminate every vile target of my revenge with my own hands. Zhou Yian ran his hands over his face. But my master, in his final moments, told me this: I hope that you don't end up like me. That's why I want to do heroic deeds righteously like my master, but at the same time, I don't want to become like him, as I must honor the wish of my master who hoped for me not to up like him. What should I do? First, I must apologize to you. Zhou Yian stood and bowed his head toward Wal Han. Your master. The cultivators who crippled Wal Bai's martial arts, shamefully, they were members of my clan. The truth spilled from his mouth. The truths of the cultivation world. And the circumstances that led the Zhou clan to become involved in the matter. I will apologize on behalf of my shameful clan. No, I give you my apologies. Han looked at Zhou Yian with a complex gaze. For a while, silence lingered between the two. Under the dark night sky, inside the cave where the bonfire burned. In that moment, Han hit Zhou Yian. At first, she hit him with controlled emotions, but gradually, the blows intensified to the point where Zhou Yian's face began to bleed. After hitting Zhou Yian for some time, Han eventually knelt before him, sobbing uncontrollably. Zhou Yian gently embraced her, as if trying to comfort her, and Wal Han clung to him tightly and wept aloud. The hunchback man and the disfigured woman cried by the fire, remembering the martial artist who had connected them, their tears flowing through the night. The next day arrived. I apologize about last night. No, it is I who should apologize for not paying more attention sooner. No, it was my fault for not controlling my emotions. Senior must have been grieving too, yet I couldn't even manage my own feelings. She stopped mid-sentence and looked at Zhou Yian for a moment. What will you do now, Senior? Well, I think I'll continue to roam the martial world. In that case, I will follow Senior. I will stay by your side and protect you. It is also my way of atoning for what happened yesterday. You're going to protect me? Zhou Yian looked at her with amused eyes. Then, suddenly, he playfully asked her a question. In that case, how about this? Why not become my disciple? From what I read in the records, 5 energies converging to the origin can give one the same 5 elements spiritual root as us cultivators. You can train in cultivation methods, and I could teach you. The same question he had once asked Wal Bai. At his words, she hesitated for a moment. Zhou Yian thought to himself. How would she respond? After some contemplation, Han shook her head. I appreciate the offer, but I decline. I have only one master. Besides, I still prefer martial arts. Ha 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 ha. Zhou Yian laughed in satisfaction at her answer, similar to Wal Bai's. Good, I apologize. Do as you wish. I will continue to wander the martial world, and you can follow along, doing whatever you like. Understood. I will follow Senior from now on, and I will do heroic deeds as my master did, within my limits. If I follow Senior, I won't meet the same end as my master, so I will also be fulfilling my master's final wish. Do as you please. Just know, as a cultivator, I will not stay long in mortal villages. I'll be spending more time in the rivers and fields than you might expect. I'll often be dealing more with monsters and demon spirits rather than heretical sects or bandits threatening the people. After all, I've recently crushed 3 large sects on my own accord. I'll need to send the inner core of demon beasts to the clan to accumulate merits. Will you be alright with that? I'm fine with it. Then, come along. And so, the two began their journey. A cultivator and a martial artist who completed their revenge roamed every corner of the land. Biokra, Yangguo, Shengxi. As they traveled from place to place, they eliminated monsters that harmed humans. Jiangxi, Fox Demon, Megu, Man-Eating Ghost, Black Snake, White Bone Ghost, a Maddened Sea Dragon, and others. TLN. Megu, or Mei-Ji-Yu, is a Korean fox demon. It is said when a fox lives for 1,000 years, it becomes a Mei-Ji-Yu. The two of them roamed far and wide, ridding the world of evil beings. Kung. Han withdrew her spear from the head of a maddened sea dragon, which had been spewing lightning from its entire body. Phew, it's strong. Are you all right? Zhou Yian approached her and took out some healing pills. Around 5 years. After traveling together for several years, eliminating monsters and demons, the two had grown quite close. From the relationship of a master's friend and his disciple, they grew closer. As a cultivator and a martial artist. As one person to another. As comrades. Zhou Yian applied a healing talisman to Ha-Un's wound. The wound is pretty deep. The healing talisman won't be enough. We've also run out of healing pills, let's spend the night in a nearby village and make some more. Understood. Thank you. Looking at Zhou Yian drawing closer, Ha-Un slightly tilted her head back. For some reason, the nape of her neck was slightly flushed. The two comrades arrived at a nearby village, riding together on a flying magic artifact. Hyok, you must be immortals. Welcome to Sok Village. Sok Village, what a nice name. We seek lodging for the night, do you have room for the two of us? Oh, yes, I will gladly host both immortals at my home. But, may I ask a favor from the immortals? At that, Zhou Yian and Wal Han exchanged glances, then spoke to the village chief. Tell us your request. In the mountain behind our village, there lives a giant black snake that devours people. The number of people who have already entered that black snake's stomach is already well into the dozens. I beg the immortals to capture that black snake. At the village chief's request, the two immediately nodded. Very well, we'll go take care of it right now. Agreed, but first, let's rest for the night to recover our strength, and then we'll deal with it. The two had slightly different opinions. Wal Han spoke. Shouldn't we take care of the snake demon spirit even a day sooner so the villagers can feel more at ease? Zhou Yian shook his head. You're not fully recovered yet. It's safer to treat yourself first before confronting it. I'm fine, this kind of injury. I can endure a little longer. Based on the testimony, it's a demon beast barely at the chi building stage. We can catch it quickly. Zhou Yian stared at her for a moment, reading the will in her eyes, and nodded. If that's your will. With that, the two immediately headed to the mountain behind Sok Village to subdue the snake demon beast. Goo. The black snake demon charged at them with fierce eyes. Han stepped on the air to evade the snake's attack, targeting the gaps between its scales with her spear, tearing into its body with Gang Qi. Zhou Yian floated the magic artifacts he created himself, pressuring the snake demon. It's when everything was progressing smoothly as the two fought the snake. Hyok. The snake demon swung its tail like a whip. The tail broke the sound barrier in an instant and slashed deeply into Ha-Un's wound. Cuff. Ha-Un groaned in pain, and in that brief moment, the snake body slammed into her direction. Kwang. She quickly enveloped herself in protective Gang Qi to minimize the impact, but her mask was shattered in the process. Startled by the loss of her mask, Han glanced at Zhou Yian. Her face flushed red with embarrassment. At that moment, the black snake rushed toward her again, but Zhou Yian swiftly stepped in between them. Warurururu. With a furious expression, Zhou Yian unleashed flames directly into the snake's mouth. The snake's vitality quickly drained. However, all of a sudden, the snake lunged at Zhou Yian as it was losing consciousness. Quack! The snake's fangs grazed Zhou Yian's skin. His skin tore, and the venom began to spread inside him, twisting his face in pain. Panicking, Han thrust her spear, finally piercing a hole through the snake's face and causing it to fall into slumber. Wal Han quickly picked up Zhou Yian and stepped in the air to rush back to Sok Village with her face pale. And no, you can't die. She was normally someone who couldn't even more properly without her mask, but at this moment, she didn't even pay it any heed and ran with all her might. Upon reaching the village, she brought the village's only doctor, a scholar from the local bookstore, to treat Zhou Yian. She arrived at the village and immediately brought the village's only healer, a scholar from the village bookshop, to treat Zhou Yian. The bookstore scholar treated Zhou Yian. Han anxiously gritted her teeth, waiting outside until the treatment was finished. The bookshop scholar's daughter wandered around Han with a fairy tale book, occasionally glancing at the room where Zhou Yian was being treated. However, neither of them said anything to each other. Surprisingly, the treatment was done quickly. Since the black snake frequently spread venom, the village always had antidotes on hand. You didn't need to rush here so quickly. With a chi-building cultivator's innate detoxification abilities, it would have healed on its own. For something like this, that's a relief. Wal Han smiled brightly, and Zhou Yian stared blankly at her face for a moment. Noticing his gaze, she flinched and quickly covered her face. That, my bare face. I'd appreciate it if you didn't look at it. She fumbled in a flustered manner, then hurried over to a nearby woman and borrowed a white cloth to cover her face. Afterward, as if trying to move past the embarrassing situation, she quickly changed the subject. That aside, your body is quite weak. When the snake made its final attack, you could have avoided it easily if you knew even basic martial arts. Well, that's true, but as a cultivator, mixing internal energy with spiritual power will actually slow down my progress in cultivation. You can at least learn some external method that don't use internal energy and basic movements, can't you? I'll teach you. Seemingly pleased with the new idea that just came to her, she led Zhou Yian to the center of the village. Han held her short spear in both hands, and Zhou Yian was handed a suitable fan borrowed from elderly passerbys. Even if you don't use weapons in combat, just learning how to move your body properly will help a lot. Try following me. All right. As the sun began to set, the man and woman practiced martial arts that looked like a dance. Each time Ha-un's spear moved, Zhou Yian's fan followed. Zhou Yian mimicked Ha-un's movements exactly. Ha-un spun 3 times to the right, and Zhou Yian followed, spinning 3 times as well. The tip of Zhou Yian's fan and the tip of Wal Ha-un's spear brushed against each other 3 times. Han looked at Zhou Yian and said, "You're following along well. Next, I'll teach you footwork and a technique that lets you close in on your opponent. Like this." For a while in the center of the village, the two unfolded martial arts that resembled a dance. As the sun gradually set, more onlookers gathered. Through Wal Bai and perfected by Wal Ha-un, the paired winged spear was quite beautiful. The sight of the man and woman moving in sync with their martial arts was pleasing to watch, regardless of the heavenly penalties they both carried. Alright, let's try again from the beginning. But this time, senior, please attack me intermittently. Once again, their martial moves unfolded. Zhou Yian seemed to dance lively, following her. Then, at a sudden moment, he moved swiftly, reaching for Ha-un's face. Ha-un tried to dodge, but for an instant, Zhou Yian's intent twisted into an unexpected trajectory, making it unable for her to evade. And in that instant, Zhou Yian's hand removed the cloth covering Ha-un's face. No, Ha-un was flustered, but Zhou Yian tossed the cloth aside and laughed. "I want to see your face." Blushing furiously, Ha-un muttered in a voice barely above a whisper. "No, you mustn't. It's too ugly. It's not something worthy of being seen by you." "It's fine." Zhou Yian smiled warmly as he spoke. "You're beautiful. That face as well." His voice was quiet, but it was clearly heard in the village center. The villagers erupted into cheers and applause. But the man and woman, both blushing, only looked at each other. Ha-un shed tears. The expressions of the hunchbacked man and the disfigured woman both changed to a smiling face and a crying face. Ha-un cried. Yet, even as she cried, she didn't stop performing the paired winged spear's martial moves with Zhou Yian. With her face covered in tears, Ha-un spoke to Zhou Yian, "All right, then, shall us two imperfect people continue dancing together? I told you, you're beautiful." The two continued to dance, and finally, just as the sun had completely set and the moon was rising, their dance came to an end. The village chief of Sok village approached the two immortals who had saved their village, bowing deeply as he spoke. "Thank you for saving our village, Sir Immortal, Lady Immortal. Thank you so much for subduing the black snake. To make sure today's grace is remembered for times to come, we will have the dance the two immortals have shown us as a tradition of our village, passed down to future generations. The dance the immortals displayed will become our village's, no, the entire region's pride and tradition. Once again, thank you." The two of them glanced at each other and smiled bashfully at the village chief's words. Zhou Yian smiled brightly and said, "If you're going to pass it down, make sure to put in the effort so it lasts not just 1,000 years, but tens of thousands of years into the future." "We will certainly do so. The two immortals will be able to see our village's tradition even 1,000 years from now." After finishing his words, the village chief swallowed nervously and then spoke in a more suggestive tone. And if you'd like, my house will be entirely vacated for the night." At that, both Zhou Yian and Wal Ha-un blushed deeply and burst into hearty laughter. And so, on that day, the two connections became one.